It expects to offer more than 3,500 daily domestic flights, which is 91% of the capacity compared with 2019 and the most since the pandemic started in March of 2020. United says it'll offer a schedule that centers on the two things people want most for the holidays: warm sunshine and fresh snow.
Fox's Jenny Cosola. On Wall Street, a rally, the Dow up 338 points at the close. It had been up over 500 during the session, though, after a debt limit deal was announced in the Senate. The NASDAQ and the S&P also gaining about 1%. Lisa Brady, Fox News.
As we get back to business, Docomo Pacific is ready to keep you connected. Introducing Business Bundles Plus. Build a customized bundle with the right internet, mobile, TV, and phone plan for your business. Pay for exactly what you need and nothing you don't. And the more services you add, the more you save. Plus, you can rely on Docomo Pacific's fastest, most reliable network and 24/7 customer support. So build your own bundle and save today with Business Bundles Plus. Call 671-688-2677. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Leah Dunca from Security Title here with a little information about trusts. A trust is a legal entity capable of owning property. It can protect property from issues such as lawsuits or divorce and can be used to distribute property and avoid probate. Many trusts start as revocable but become irrevocable when the initial trustees die. Work with your estate planning attorney to see if a trust is a good fit for your family property. Call the professionals at Security Title. We are here to help.
Becoming a homeowner can be a scary process, but it doesn't have to be, especially if you have the right guidance. Break through your fears and go to a real estate professional that will ensure a higher chance of success. That person is Lolita Camet of RE/MAX Diamond Realty. Lolita also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, and military and corporate relocation. Don't be afraid. Call Lolita Camet from RE/MAX Diamond Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
Off a day at 6:06, I'm Mana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news on the point. But there is still a CAR score that's being posted, although the governor's head physician advisor, Dr. Nate Berg, said that it's not being given as much importance. This morning, it is posted in the JIC as 27.7. The report today confirms another 138 cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed out of 1,283 people who were tested. There are 60 people in the hospital with COVID-19. And again, testing resumes today at the Teats and Carnival grounds, and vaccination clinics also continue. But yesterday, a virtual forum was held with public health officials to address questions with regard to the COVID response. And doctors said that we are still in a surge. And among the growing COVID cases being reported, more kids are getting sick, and a number of them admitted to the hospital. The Guam Daily Post reports that there are 5 kids in the hospital, GMH, ranging from a day old to 8 years old. 2 children were in the pediatric intensive care unit. And while the number of new cases seems to have hit a plateau, there remains a steady case count that exceeds 100 every day. The doctors in that forum highlighted data from 2020 in which COVID-19 was listed as the 3rd leading cause of death for Guam. The top 2 causes remain the heart disease and malignant neoplasm. Meanwhile, physicians also pointed out their concern with the number of recent cases being brought to the hospital dead on arrival, and the importance for people to get tested and treated as soon as possible if they have any symptoms. Police and school officials didn't find any threat at the school yesterday, but students at Estumbo Elementary were placed on lockdown for a bit after reports of gunshots being heard. It happened just before 2:30 in the afternoon. School administrators, out of an abundance of caution, initiated the lockdown and called GPD, and all is clear was given just about 3 o'clock, and students were all listed as safe. Well, more news right after this.
Come try Guam's original Chamorro restaurant with Pica's Best 5 years running. Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Experience Chef Peter's candied salmon over scallion coconut rice, octopus tinactac, Chamorro platter, and their award-winning gourmet hamburgers. Or if you're looking for something healthy, try their keto-friendly menu. Come and enjoy Mezcla's half-a-day service at their Hagåtña and Grand Plaza Tumon location. Call their Hagåtña location at 479-2652 for reservations.
The Agana swimming pool remains closed, and the fate of the decades-old facility won't be known until an assessment is completed. The Post reports an agreement for professional consulting services is under review by the Attorney General. It's after GITA issued the RFP to revisit the viability of the pool and see if it's worth fixing, at least for the interim swim team's practices. GITA Deputy Administrator Joanne Camacho says once awarded, the assessment of the pool will take about 30 to 40 days. The Agana pool's been closed to the public since January of last year, initially due to water quality issues, but the president of the Guam Swimming Federation says that it's really been closed for the last 4 years. GURA's director, Ray Tapasna, did say that his offer remains on the table to build a new swimming pool. Tapasna says that they propose to build it in Dededo, where it already has the infrastructure, and says that it would be the cheapest and quickest option. The funding, though, would still have to be addressed. And the man arrested in the stabbing that took place in Dededo last August now faces charges of attempted murder. 39-year-old Manuel Cabrera Tatauto appeared in the Superior Court yesterday. He was charged with aggravated murder and a number of other charges, to include kidnapping. He's alleged to have beaten and stabbed a man before wrapping him up in a tarp and then setting him on fire. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
I'm sorry. You know, it's a Friday, and it's a no frowny face Friday day, right?
Oh, sorry.
But there's a story. This is the paperwork from the governor's office. Guam testifies at the United Nations. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it all the way through the reading this thing without making a frowny face or rolling my eyes 18
read it with
times.
a smile.
I'll try to read the thing with you. You're right. Mostly cloudy today. Okay, so the same crack that we've had for the last week and a half, we're probably going to have all weekend long. Brandon Landon, one of the guys over at the National Weather Services. I like the way they put this in.
Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. You can now buy.
Are we still mosh pitting?
You can still buy flags that say that. Yeah, we're moshing here this morning. It says up to 10 inches of rain dumped on island in the last 48 hours. According to the Daily Post in their interview with Landon, Guamanians can expect more soggy weather through mid-October with brief periods of sunlight. Like it just like now. Okay, God.
Thanks for the hope.
What a morning. All right, so that's all we got for you. Mostly cloudy skies. There might be a brief appearance of sunshine. Scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Numerous locally heavy showers this morning for Guam. Southeast winds up to 15 miles an hour. Highs today about 85 degrees. Mostly cloudy. Scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms tonight with east winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. Overnight lows 76 degrees. Same thing for tomorrow, Saturday night, Sunday. It's all the same weather forecast here. Sunrise this morning at 6:10. Sunset tonight at 6:06. Heat index today, if the sun makes one of those brief appearances, should bring things up to about 90 degrees here. That's news and weather together. Brought to you by Bank Pacific, banking on the Pacific for 67 years.
Over the past 5 years, confidential data and network breaches have doubled for small and large businesses, resulting in huge financial loss. At GTA, our multi-threat security bundle is a cost-effective solution monitored by our team of experts, ready to detect known malware and stop new evolving cyber threats before entering your network.
Protect your business with confidence and call 671-644-1000 or visit gta.net/enterprise. GTA, we start with you.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. Services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Feedback, he says. Portions of the program brought to you by American President Lines, APL, a global presence with a local home. Also being brought to you by the guys over at Nissan, and counting down the seconds that they might be able to take you on a test drive on your all-new Nissan Frontier 2022. Should be here any second now. Reserve them at NissanGuam.com on the World Wide Web and find out where everybody is raving about it. Completely redesigned. The exterior, interior, super technology in the center console, best in-class horsepower, and all the towing power that you need here today. Huh? That's what you want. You know what you want to do? You want to get the thing with the tow bar, but don't actually tow stuff. You know what? You want to be able to put like bicycle racks up there or you know, some other kind of manly thing. Right, even if you're a woman, and they can accommodate you with all of those special tools and technologies at NissanGuam.com.
The Ray Gibson Show. morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Nothing you can do about it. It's going to be a wet and soggy kind of Friday into a wet and soggy weekend, and it'll probably be wet and soggy when it gets to be Monday, which is Columbus Day. Is that the holiday that everybody's raving about?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we're off.
No, we're not.
What?
I already
We're
asked.
not off on Columbus.
It's on the list.
It is not
No,
on
it's
the
not
list.
on the list,
It's
man.
not on
I
the,
already
there's nothing in
checked.
October. We don't have anything. I think that what's the next?
All Souls Day.
I think it might be All Souls Day or something like that. We don't celebrate Columbus Day here on Guam because Columbus is the guy that set up the colonizers of the United States of America and is not politically correct. So we just don't bother with that anymore. We just, you know what? We got other holidays that we can do for ourselves, like Magellan Day.
Oh, right. Yeah, wait,
No, they changed that. It's, what is it, Discovery Day?
Yeah.
No, it's
Indigenous Peoples Day.
Heritage Day.
Heritage Day. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. How many times did we have to go to the United Nations to get that designation? Did we just do that on our own? Is that something where we have to beg permission of the United Nations or something? Like I said, I made it about 3/4 of the way through the thing, and I realized that my eyeballs were spinning inside my head. What's going to happen here? I'll tell you more about that a little bit later on. In the meantime, welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. It is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray. I'm thrilled as usual to be here with you because it's and even more so now because it's Friday. And have we had a chance to mention happy birthday to Sarita Garin?
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
This week.
I can't
Happy
remember.
Earth Week.
I can't remember. Did we do it this week?
No.
No, but we thought about
Maybe.
doing it, right? Did we
Because
have
we
a
weren't invited.
I
to
might
the
have sent her a
celebration.
private message.
oh really? Oh,
Special
how about
happy
that?
birthday.
But we do have a happy advanced birthday from this is from Rico B. His son Rico Jr.
Oh, happy birthday.
Has got a birthday. How old is it? Doesn't say how old he's going to be. It just says happy birthday to my son Rico Jr. And his birthday is going to be on Sunday. Now Rico
Guapo
Jr.
boys.
They got these little kids with. He's got little kid pictures in here, but he's actually is a young man now.
Oh yeah.
So when we go, he hangs out with us over at when we do the pew-pews and stuff like this, and so I remember watching him one day shooting bang 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 on the targets, and he goes, "Oh shucks, missed a couple," and so he puts the gun in his other hand, left hand, and starts shooting it, bang bang bang. Okay, got them all. Got them all this time. Way to go! Outstanding. Just a great young man, and a pleasure to be around. It's always nice. Isn't that a nice thing when you hang out with people and they've got nice kids?
Oh yeah.
As opposed to like
Definitely.
ours.
Yeah.
No, I'm playing around. We got good
I keep
kids.
mine at home.
Do you? I just in the box until
Unless I want to unleash evil on the planet.
Daddy will be home. That's Millie. That's Pam Duvall's little girl, the destroyer of worlds. But she's so cute when she does it. All right. So anyway, as I said, welcome to it. We got Real Joe's going to get the phone. You call it 888-825-5888-TALK. Montecillo Tyrant with all the big news and headlines. It's as usual over the course of the last few days. You just go, wow. It's always kind of interesting how you can manage to put together a newscast over 4 minutes. Absolute broadcast news professional.
You know what I'm noticing is people are missing the car score. So I was watching KOAM last night.
Really?
And they put their little graphic up with the recent numbers posted by the JIC.
And then?
they left out the car score. And so all the comments when there's no car score.
Where's the
People
car
were
score?
calling for the car score.
The-
And I didn't realize that people were paying attention.
It's part of the
But
Stockholm
it is. There
syndrome.
is still a car score. It's 27.7 today.
What
For
was
those
it
of you-
yesterday? Do you recall?
I think it was 27.7.
27 point something yesterday. I don't anticipate a whole lot of changes in here. We still got a lot of numbers that are pushing through. A lot of people getting tested because they know a lot of people that have got COVID, or we're close to people that are getting tested. And out of an abundance of caution, we'll go ahead and sit in the car line for 2 or 3 hours and find out what the deal is. And some people are obviously testing positive because COVID-19 is here. It's here to stay, as Macri says. We're not going to run. We're not going to hide. We're just going to have to get used to it and live with it. Although the latest round of there's not enough to make people scared now. What will scare them? I know. We'll tell them babies are getting COVID-19. And so sure enough, there's a story here, front page of the Guam Daily Post. Oriel Nidatikel writes about this. They noted 5 of the 60 COVID-19 patients at GMH are children. Now, according to the governor's director, the spokesperson, the communication director, the children are 1 day old, 2 days old. What did they send them to school? What is it? 1 day? How does a 1 day old, arguably still at Guam Memorial Hospital, get COVID-19? Real Joe, your theory.
They got it there.
They must have. Where has the baby been?
Something's up, man.
Baby was there, and then the baby was over there, and now the baby's there again. Somewhere in there, there was a
the
thing.
Mom had COVID, and
then transmitted it to the kid. Look, I'm not. I'm not that I'm skeptical. Everything is.
And maybe this is why they're calling for pregnant or expectant mothers to get vaccinated.
Could be.
Perhaps.
Anyway, so you got questions. If you're pregnant, the thing about getting pregnant, go talk to Tom Shea, and he'll talk you through. He'll talk you down all of this stuff. There's a 1 month old, 22 month old, and an 8-year-old. Arguably, the 8-year-old probably did at some point leave the hospital since the kid was born. But now back 6:20 in the morning. That's going to be interesting as we unpack some of the day's news. But this is the big story here: the Iron Dome.
Oh, I like it, man.
The
It sounds
Iron
Israeli.
Dome missile defense system deployed to Guam. Now we were all excited, and a lot of people excited because when they brought out the THAAD system, there were a lot of Army people running around, and then some Army chicks that came along for the ride, which was, and some of them stayed.
Specialists.
The Iron Dome missile defense system deployed to Guam, also from the U.S. Army, and arguably there will be more fun people to hang out with in Tumon, and ask them about their jobs, and they go, "I can't tell you, it's classified. Got a beer. Get a beer." What? I'm sorry, is that a seltzer? Can I have the seltzer? Is that Truly? Give me a Truly. But we got that coming to Guam, and there's a bunch of statements going around here one way or the other, and then I'll see if I can break down some of those kinds of things. Personally, though, I am delighted. I'm really, really delighted. I was worried that we would get hung out here to dry. You remember, like in World War II, and they said the Japanese are coming, and everybody said, "Okay, bye." So? At least they're going to stick around here and put up the kind of technology that has protected Israel from the Hamas. And did a great job doing it. And you remember the last time they sent all that fireworks over to Israel?
Yes.
And then Hamas and the Palestinians started complaining because you guys aren't letting our bombs fall. You know what? That's not fair. You should let our bombs fall. What's the matter with you? You guys don't know how to play war. Get out of here. And it's possible the Chinese may say the same thing. The North Koreans may say the same thing. I'm just delighted that the thing is finally going to happen. And the good news is, apparently, the governor said it was okay.
Oh, nice.
Apparently they checked with Lou, and Governor Lou Leanguro said it was, you know what, fine. Go ahead and we'll put this thing up there, and maybe a little thing over at Government House with all of the team. I don't know about that second part, but it is going to be fun to watch the deployment. Apparently, we'll be able to see these things. I don't know. I every once in a while I get a picture from somebody, and be something on WhatsApp, and they'll say, "Oh, here's the THAAD system," and it's like right next to. Like a gas station out somewhere. And I go, wow, really?
Food trucks around it.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, speaking of food trucks. Okay, if I have any of those urgent moments, just to note, it was jalapenos with food truck food last night. It was one of the. I went and I got food truck food because I didn't feel like cooking, and ate the food, and at 7:30 made way for the bed.
Oh, nice.
This is because the sun is going down.
Dude.
No,
it's
the
cold.
sun is going down. And maybe if we get Macris on the line, ask him about what are they called? The circadian rhythms.
Yeah,
so
body clocks.
We're used to, at least, over most of this year, the sun comes up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and the sun goes down at like 6:45, 7 o'clock at night, but it's been going down earlier and earlier. And I don't know about you, but because it gets dark so much earlier, by the time it gets to be 7:30 or so, I'm ready to hit the sack. And sometimes the sack is ready to hit back, and there's nothing wrong with that. 6:23 in the morning. Speaking of sack hitters, let's check these guys out.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see the troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name. You want to go where people know people are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
Yes, and I refer to it as the Iron Dome because of all of the great old ladies in my life that I grew up with that never said the word iron. It was always iron. You want me to iron your shirt? I can iron your clothes for the day. So it's the Iron Dome. There used to be a guy on television, a TV show called Ironsides.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And in Chamorro, it's Ironsides. Yeah, that's the way that worked. 888-825-888-TALK. I got Rico B and Rico Jr. on the screen right now because it just seemed to go well with the cheers noise. And online, we got number one here this morning saying, good morning, team. It's Friday, is Nate Horn.
Hey, morning, Nate.
And Nate's going to spend some time over at Feathers and Fins smothering kittens. It just looks like it because he holds them so tight. I mean, he's just got so much love for him. I got our buddy Brad Wood is online. Felix Bumba. There's Sarita Garin. Happy belated birthday to you from the Point family. Post Canteen. A reminder from Post Canteen. He doesn't even need to tell me. I'm just going to say it myself. Post Canteen. And tonight at 7 o'clock, there is going to be one of the what do they call it? Queen of Hearts drawings. And somebody tonight could win just under $2,000, maybe more. Maybe they might make it over $2,000 because my guess is there's going to be a lot of people going in and buying tickets, and the more tickets people buy, the higher the jackpot is going to be going. So by all means, make it a point to get up to VFW tonight and see Kim. I don't know, is Kim Aiken still singing up there? Do we know? What about Elton John and Travis Tritt? Do we got those guys who
I
singing
don't know
up there?
if Kim's still jamming, man.
Post Canteen will send us an itinerary of what we might be able to expect when we head up there. Like I said, Rico B's online. Good, no frowny face. Friday morning. Ray, Real Joe, Mana, and Guam. Brad Wood. Buenas to you, Keenan McCausland, and the former boss over at Gita here, working with Mana Silva Tyrant, is Jay Rojas.
Happy birthday.
Oh, my God. Do I need to give him more of a setup here so you guys are ready when I start saying Jay Rojas? Because it sounds like it's underwhelming. It has no broadcast production values.
Yeah, I don't want to make Hawaii look too good, man.
No, I understand. All right, so here's a guy.
Oh, my gosh. Did you hear that BJ Penn is running for governor?
Of the state of Hawaii?
Yes, he is.
Wait. There was a guy in the military. I think he retired with the military buildup named B.J. Penn. But
No,
B.J.
I'm
Penn, the MMA guy?
fighter.
Yeah, brother.
You know, if our standards here are very high, and I'll tell you why, because the next name on the list here this morning is a man who needs no introduction. The man from tomorrow, the man who's going to those brief moments of sunshine that Landon was telling you about, from Carl T.C. Gutierrez.
Just bring it back.
Sunshine.
Please bring back the sunshine, bro. I'm losing my tan.
Bro.
Yeah, he's my bro. He's my bro. At some point, I'm going to get the word, because it works like that. Carl Gutierrez like the A-team. You don't know when he's going to show up. He just does. And he'll say, backyard, Bud Light, stuffed crab, and a time. And that's all you need. That's all you need to hear. Ultimate cool there. We got Henry Minglonia online. Mark Cruz doing his wavy thing. John Ray Taitano and Gemma Bustamante saying good morning, everybody, and happy Friday. Keenan McCausland from the upper left-hand corner of the United States of America. And what was the name of that the food truck I went to last night? Do you remember? It was something Picas. They're in the
Manang.
Manang Pica.
Manang Pica.
Okay, so I got the taco,
Yeah.
and it comes with jalapenos, and I was alternating between the jalapenos and the 2 pica sauce.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it was really, really nice. And you do the dipping thing and a little saucy thing that they got there for you. It was nice last night. Of course, they got the new swimming pool in the middle.
Did you dip your toes in there?
As it turns out, it does not meet the qualifications, as you might imagine, for a swimming pool. But there were a couple of stand-up paddle boarders in there last night. It was Keenan McCausland, Colin Clark, Brad, what's that you're saying? Turn that frown upside down. Rico Blancaflor, Rico, JB St. Nicholas, Peter Santos online. I got Edita Camarillo and again Kina from the upper left-hand corner. That's the read I'm getting from online on the actual Facebook page. Other places, what do we got? I got Cousin Troy.
Good morning, my favorite Chalu.
Good morning, my most favoriteest, beautifulest cousin in the wide world.
And it says Ron McNinch thanks Doc, but I'm not sure why. Is Ron McNinch watching? Can you see him on your thing? Was he?
No, I can't.
In the alien, he's thanking the Doc.
Out there, though.
And Dennis Larson saying happy birthday to everybody who is born in October. Jose Tetpahagu says we've got a car score, and he wants to know why we don't have a truck score.
Yeah.
Way to go. Who's out there? Out of an abundance of caution, I will pour Lucia Fleming Wood into a Korean taxi. I love that. That ain't good. Only one reason you would need an iron dome, sort of like a condom. I know what you mean. No, I get it. I'll tell you why that's there, and it comes from a bunch of stories that had come out in the last couple of weeks. Some that I talked about, some I didn't. Keena's wondering where the hat is. You said you're going to wear one today. I was thinking about it on the way out, but as I said, food truck with jalapenos. So I've got a couple of these gastric moments here, and I completely forgot about it while I was tending to something that at the time seemed to take precedent, seemed to be more of a priority, and that's all I'm really going to say about that. Jose says GMH needs the iron dumb boy. At least my favorite chore is ironing, says Sarita. John Ananich is saying, good morning, Guam. John Ananich online, Real Joe.
Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord?
This Sunday is coming up. This is going to be great. Mary Singeo, Denina is online. Down day at Anderson, says Colin Clark, but I'm not sure what that refers to. And plenty more comments. Another one from Jose Tetpog, who is definitely not frowny face, especially when you're in the Navy. Oh, referring to Sarita talking about her favorite chore is ironing. And he says, especially when you're in the Navy and you have inspection with some new top brass and the uniform is tight. I've often wondered about that. There's guys that wear uniforms here on Guam, and you can always tell the ones that are they're sort of bachelors and the ones that maybe have somebody in their lives that are able to make their uniforms, especially the guys over at Customs. Mana knows what I'm talking about. They're crisp. They look like they just came out of the package a minute ago. I mean, all the way top down. You get the shiny shoes on the bottom. And I've always wondered how you do something like that because, frankly, my mom gave me the most basic instructions when it comes to ironing and folding and washing of the clothes. 6:30 in the morning. As I say, lots and lots to talk about, lots and lots of people to talk about, to talk with. Do me a favor, hit the button on whatever it is that you're watching and let everybody know that this is where you found some great entertainment, some great talk, and some great goings on with what's happening here on Guam. There might be other places that will give you news and headlines, but around here, a little bit of commentary from an old Pacific hand that has seen most of the games come and go before, and it's always interesting when you hear from some of those guys that have played those games and when their experiences and their responses are different from what they were before. So we got Howard Experience over at and this is weird. Howard Experience over on YouTube, who is also joined there by Rico Blancaflor, Sarita Garin, and Gemma Bustamante, whose names I've already read on the YouTube side. So is there a little bit of room movement here? Do people are you guys going to both rooms?
They're by, Ray.
They're by. We're going to hang out with both of them. Alfred Cabo is online over on that side as well. We'll take a look at some of the comments when I get an opportunity to put on a different pair of glasses and start to read them. In the meantime, we're going to break away. Montecillo Tower is going to take care of some early news and headlines. We'll come back with some early traffic. My guess is there's probably not going to be a whole lot of it, even less because not a whole lot of the schools are in face to face. And did you read where the mathematics don't look good for the Department of Education, and the possibility of them getting to 180 instructional days is beyond even Jesus Christ a miracle. We'll talk about that and other things as the program continues. In the meantime, Montecillo Tower, Hoffa, what happened overnight?
Well, the JIC report has 138 new cases out of 1,200 people who were tested the day before yesterday, 60 people in the hospital. Now, health officials had a virtual forum yesterday to discuss with the media the recent COVID response, and doctors say that we are still in a surge. And among the growing COVID cases being reported, more kids are getting sick and being hospitalized. The Guam Daily Post says that there are 5 kids in the hospital of the 60 that have been admitted. 2 of the children are in pediatric intensive care. A 39-year-old man who was arrested in connection with a stabbing last August has been charged in the Superior Court with attempted aggravated murder. The man is alleged to have assaulted and beaten another man before wrapping him up in a tarp and setting him on fire. He remains at the Department of Corrections. And those are your headlines right here on The Point.
What a gruesome story.
Yeah.
I'm just reading it in the newspaper. I've got the magistrate report, and I'll go through some of that just to see just what an awful night this was for at least one guy who, at the end of the day, he attempted to burn him alive. And you wonder where these people come from. And the problem is he's from around here. The suspect is named Chitautau, and anybody that does, you talk to the cops about this, anybody does a magistrate search, a word search with the magistrate reports and a last name Chitautau, you usually come up with more than 1 or 2 hits. It's closing in on 6:33 in the morning. Take a look at traffic and more as the Ray Gibson Show continues.
Contact Express Financial for all your financial needs. Express Financial is consumer lending at its very best. They also have a host of dealer service programs with quick approvals. There are 3 ways to apply. Over the phone at 637-9834. You may visit their office in person at 600 Harmon Loop Road across the street from Costules. Or you can also visit their webpage and apply at myexpressfinancial.com. In most cases, you'll get your money the same day.
Bargain Tactical, Guam's largest firearms dealer and sports shooting store, offering the best selection on island. You'll find everything you need for your next trip to the range. Ammo, target, stands, hearing and eye protection. A full-time armorer is ready to help with repairs, maintenance, and builds. Plus, you'll find a large selection of home defense accessories, including tasers, stun guns, pepper spray, batons, and home security devices. Pellet, BB, and airsoft guns in stock now for pest control and training. Tactical Gear Guam, Route 16, Army Drive in Harmon. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Bargain Tactical 671 or online, bargaintacticalguam.com. Bargain Tactical. You defend, we support. Portions of the program brought to you by the guys over at Take Care. Happy to welcome the Gov Guam family and of employees and retirees to the fold, and you are going to love being inside the fold. Take Care has these great health plans, super services, and a global network of healthcare providers. They are your trusted partner for your health care solutions. Now, Take Care, our island, your health plan.
Guam Auto Spot has the best selection in Buick, GMC, Mitsubishi, and used cars like the 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage, starting at $127 per paycheck, 0 down. Call 671-478-AUTO to take a test drive or get pre-approved online at guamautospot.com.
All right, looking at the traffic gizmo here, there was a story floating around a little bit earlier. The police apparently shut down a couple of lanes on the underpass last night. They have now been reopened, according to Real Joe Cruz, who was able to find Officer Paul Tapau polishing his bullet. Try not to infer it. That was his reference to the Andy Griffith Show. Anything else that pops in your head, you're skibby. You're nasty. You need to go to confession and find Jesus in your life. All right, here it is, the traffic report. I'm taking a look at what's happening on Guam's roadways. Mostly intersection traffic now. Drive to the conditions. I'm not seeing a whole lot by way of flooding. Nothing up at Anderson Air Force Base. You make your way southbound Marine Corps Drive into Dededo, and it's running fairly clear right now. A little bit of traffic over at 1 and 27 at Isang Song. A little bit of traffic over 1 and 3, and then we've got the usual stuff on Route 16 as you make your way up and down the roadways towards the center of the island. 8, 10, and 16. A little bit busy there. Looks like southbound traffic as you pass by the what is it, Hopper Market? What's the name of the place? I haven't been there in a while.
What? Happy Mart?
Happy Mart. That's what I was thinking of.
You got me for a second.
Sorry, I just went to sleep too early last night. I don't know. That's all. That's the only thing I can blame things on, because otherwise I'm caffeinated and I'm awake. What do we got here? A little bit of traffic getting into the Agantya area. Nothing major by Polaris Point, but by the time you get to Big Navy in Sumai, because again, here it is today, the last day of exercise. Wait a second, I was going to say something else. I was going to throw in a Duterte phrase, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Exercise. That's what you guys need to call this stuff. Today should be the last day of that, and I guess it's going to mean that there's going to be some slower traffic getting into and out of Big Navy in Sumai. Lots of traffic here this morning because there's lots of rain. That's news. Traffic here on The Point.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
You've got a job to do. Having the right equipment for the job is critical, and East West Rental has the exact tools you need. Get it done faster with the right stuff, whether it's landscaping tools, concrete tools, lifts, trucks, lights, generators, trench boxes, welders, tents, tables, and chairs. They're here to help you tackle any project you're working on, big or small. Open Monday to Saturday, 7 to 5, closed Sundays. Find what you're looking for at East West Rental Center in Upper Tumon or call 646-1463. Sorry, I'm just making my way through the first couple of paragraphs in this magistrate report. John Pinaula is the victim, and making some initial statements about what had happened to him with that the night that he went out with allegedly Manny Titauta. More on that in a couple of minutes. 6:38 in the morning. Was that the Longhorn that you just? Oh wait, which one? Oh, 11's is.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see where I can be confused. No, you can see where I can be confused. This is his hand sign for 11s. But when he does Longhorn, it looks like this.
Yeah, and I make my lips like this. And
you're making me look bad here this morning, bro. All right, so 11s is
Friday, man.
No, somebody sent me actually as proof that they had gone, that they had heard me talking about it on the radio. Somebody sent me yesterday a picture of the inside of 11s, and a good thing too. I'm sure you had a good time. We got some great coffee drinks and caffeinated products there. Great cold drinks too, and teas that you're going to absolutely love. Plus pastries and all kinds of groovy sandwiches. Asked them about the tuna sandwich that they made for me. Now they might not have it because they're like bread aficionados and they don't want to put it on just any bread. So there might have to be some negotiations on what the covering is going to be. But you're going to love the inside for sure. Love it so much you're going to want to tell people about it. In fact, you're going to want them to be number one for coffee shops in the Pika Best of. You can vote on them today. And a reminder while you're doing that, go over to services, because apparently radio stations are services, according to the guys over at the PDN, and so find them and then click on one of the 3 stations of the Choice Broadcasting System, including Star 101, Boss 104, and this station. We are The Point.
Rediscover talk radio here. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
6:40 in the morning. Hi, my name is Ray. Broadcast professional, as a matter of fact, been doing this for a long time. And one of the things that I've learned over all of these years is, people wake up in the morning and turn on news and talk radio stations for one of a couple of things. And in this case, I think it is the acknowledgement that hell didn't freeze over last night, that everything, for the most part, is A-OK. And for the most part, it is. And then the rest of it is, okay, well, what's today going to be like weather-wise? Expect another soggy day. Already starting off soggy over at Pirates Cove. Here's the early morning images of sunrise on the eastern side of the island, and somewhere in one of these pictures is the sun actually breaking the plane, but I cannot see it. It was apparently one of those mornings where it just got brighter. That was the sunrise. It's not night anymore. We're moving into the daytime. Okay, well, where's the sun? And the answer is, I'm sorry, that's classified. It's now under the Iron Dome, and we welcome the Iron Dome people here to Guam. I'll read you bits and pieces of the paperwork that came from the governor's office on that yesterday. But for me, the amazing and the most amusing and maybe annoying piece of paperwork that came out of the governor's office yesterday is Guam has testified at the United Nations.
Ow. Are they united?
Last week they were having issues. They had this big. There was supposed to be a big assembly, and the United Nations, I don't know, boss said, okay, everybody that comes in has to be vaccinated, and not everybody, not all of the leaders of all of the nations on the planet have drank the Kool-Aid. So there's a lot of guys saying, oh yeah, we have to be vaccinated. Really? You might want to rethink that. And so they did. They were able to finally get something going. But here's the story: Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio and the Commission on Decolonization Executive Director Melvin Wonpat Dash-Borha delivered in-person testimony on behalf of Governor Lulian Guerrero and the people of Guam. And the people of Guam, do all of us agree with this? During the regular session of the UN's Special Political and Decolonization Fourth Committee, which fulfills the UN's commitment for peacekeeping and decolonization. You already starting to feel it getting thick here? Starting to back up? Okay, and all of the people of Guam. What was the testimony? Where was Tony Babauta? We couldn't have said. They sent Tony for the last one, and he got the pleasure of reading the "Let's Go USA" deal.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I want to do the. I wanted to say the "F.U. Biden," but it just feels like that's too much. But anyway, during his testimony, Lieutenant Governor Tenorio, I guess we're traveling again. I guess we're traveling, right? Are we doing that?
Yeah.
How did he fly? First class?
There's money for that, right?
Hey, Josh, where'd you stay? Did you go watch Cats? Huh? Come on, tell me you went to go watch Cats or something like that. Anyway, they highlighted policy inequities relative to the military buildup and housing. Now we're going to get ticked off. Now our panties are going to be in a. Never mind. We're going to get all built up here and throw hissies over housing on and off military bases in Guam, stating, quote, the local skilled labor force on Guam cannot meet the demands of the economic expansion resulting from domestic, commercial, and military activities. Yet the administering power It's what we call Uncle Fed. When we love the United States of America, we say we love the United States of America. But when we're at the United Nations, we have to say things like administering power will only authorize foreign labor to support military projects, resulting in a nearly twofold increase in the cost of construction and the people of Guam being priced out of home ownership and shut out from a residential rental market dominated by military housing rentals and rental subsidies for only a certain segment of the population. So what do you want, Ray Tapasna, to go back to only paying $1,000 a month for a single-family dwelling? Is that what you want? I mean, the money now is up there. I mean, they jacked up the amount of money that Guru is going to pay for single-family dwellings, specifically so that we could put Section 8 family in decent housing. They weren't necessarily living in slums. What is it exactly that you want? You want to turn your back on that Fed money that is supporting other construction and rentals here on Guam? Lieutenant Governor Tenorio and Executive Director Juan Badora urged the committee to continue seeking authorization from the United States for a UN visiting mission. And we've got that jughead in the White House who might actually allow for something like this to happen. Lieutenant Governor Tenorio urged the UN to assess the progress of our sustainable development efforts consistent with the United States Sustainable Development Goals and the impact that our decolonization has on our ability to fully implement these policies. Hey, Josh, did you show them pictures of that little garden in Agana? Did you show them come on, that's sustainable? Yeah. It's a sustainability garden. Look what we got. Come on, we're getting rid of plastic bags in January. Come on, guys, you got to back us up here. Executive Director Juan Pat stated the United States has not fulfilled its international and moral obligations, and for that reason, we've consistently advocated for a UN visiting mission to Guam. I request the Fourth Committee continue to engage our administering power until a visiting mission is granted. It almost, and I'm trying to, as Mana said, read it with a smile, and I did, right? But here's the most infuriating thing I can imagine here is the government of Guam and the people of Guam. Because I remember that PUA money. Lou didn't come up with that PUA money. Dave Del Sola didn't come up with that. The EIP money that Daphne Shimizu and everybody over at the legislature have been throwing around, the PPP money for the businesses so that they might have an opportunity to keep the doors open. Lou, Josh, Melvin, that money didn't come from the government of Guam. That money came from the federal government of the United States. It came from our administering power. How would you like to be any number of other island nations out in the world without the backup, without being a member of the federal family that is the United States of America? And you dare go to the United Nations and throw shade on your administering power? That's just, it is the most disingenuous thing. Oh, and by the way, just in case the Chinese or the North Koreans want to shove a nuclear missile up our noggins here, is it possible, could you bring an Iron Dome to Guam? Could you do something like that? Help protect us? Because they don't put Iron Domes everywhere. So I don't know. At some point, we gotta find a way to end this conversation, or at least change the tenor of the conversation, because that's just kind of ridiculous, and it's ungrateful, if you ask me. 647. What do you think, Kellis?
Morning.
Yeah, so far.
Yes. Also, I was just thinking of you heard of that Marine Light Colonel that basically turned in his rank and quit. So he's
I
in
have
jail right now because of the decisions of the higher rankings. So what I'm surprised is that the lieutenant governor, out of shame of what our governor is doing by accepting this money, why didn't he quit?
That's there's a good point. I'm wondering how many people were more than happy to take some of that federal money. And at the same time, I'm sorry, there's a lot of people that are on one side or the other of this. But look, if you hate the United States, if you made PUA, go write a check to Dave Del Sola and give it back.
Yeah.
If you got you're getting all rise money does not come from Lulian Guerrero. This is what's going to happen. It's going to be election time, and they're going to run on a platform of we gave you money, and that's like voting for the ATM because it gave you money. right? This is ridiculous. The money was already there. It was going to get to you regardless who was going to be in Adelup.
Well, the difference is the ATM has the money, but then imagine the ATM just giving you a card regardless of how much money it is, not from your bank. So the ATM is giving you money not from your account, so you're getting money.
Yeah, it did not come. It did not come from your account. You didn't have to work for that. The people of Guam. This could have been a much more disastrous situation since March of 2020, but it wasn't. We were buoyed. $2 billion worth of aid here. What is that? Somebody? Well, this is interesting. You're actually agreeing with me. Post Canteen, bunch of idiots to let them babble at the UN while they place a defensive system here and almost $2 billion in relief. Oh, and by the way, that legacy hospital you want to build, whose land is that on now?
But the other thing is, because of that $2 billion, and again, since GovGuam employees are the most important voting bloc on Guam, they didn't lose a job. But if they did lose their job, they would have got more money. Well, some of them, obviously. But a lot of them would have taken a pay cut. But they could have. What I don't understand with all this money that we're getting, why don't we pay down some of our debt?
Well, the government believes that they've done a good job paying down the deficit in the government of Guam, and to whatever degree you think that's a great idea, then they did. But now that's long-term deficit. I'm sorry, that's deficit money, and they say we've done a good job doing this, but there's still a whole lot of debt that the island of Guam owes. I don't know what we're talking about when it comes to short-term 30, 60, 90. I don't know if you guys have any accounts with the government of Guam that's not getting repaid on a 30, 60, 90-day basis.
Well, because, normally one of the things that, I learned in school, in junior high school at Dedido, is like basically how to be financially responsible. So once you finish paying off a particular bill, you just act like you're still paying that bill and you put it to something else. Instead of saying, hey, I now have an additional $10 million, let me spend it elsewhere. Why don't you just take the additional 10 or 5, even if it's additional $5, and put it towards another bill, or pay the hospital.
Well, there a couple of things that and that's good for personal finance, and absolutely something that I try to do on a regular basis. Although anybody that knows me knows, A, I don't have any cash, and B, I love my bills. That's important. Yeah, and as you can pay these things down, wonderful. But in these uncertain economic times, it's always good to stay a little bit liquid. Always good to have a little bit of money. I mean, unless you've got people that are knocking down your doors and banging on your windows and calling you and embarrassing at work, you know what? And if they're not charging you an interest fee or late fees, screw them. You're last to get paid. I'm holding on to this cash because I might need this cash for an emergency or an opportunity. So, paying down, what is it, $85, $86 million worth of deficit, somebody's going to get a Boy Scout badge for that. But otherwise, could we have used those dollars in other places in advance of federal expenditures or advance of federal largesse? Or are there opportunities, or are, as you point out, some crying needs that we've got? If it only costs $7 million to take care of that electrical panel over and can I ask, because you're an electrical guy, have you seen the electrical panel at Guam Memorial Hospital, Kel?
You mean at Guam Memorial?
I'm sorry, yeah, Guam Memorial. Where did I say it was? I'm sorry. Yeah, I meant Guam Memorial.
I thought you were talking about Northern Health.
No, is there a problem with their electrical panel?
Yeah, that's why they had the electrical fire, not at Northern, but Central, the one at Manila.
Oh, okay. Now, did you take a look at that one?
We've seen that before. I've done work on it before, yes.
Is that the reason why the building is abandoned?
Not because of what I did.
Well, of course. Here, dude, you guys are kindo. I trust you for everything. But now, have you seen the one over at GMH, the big panel
no,
there?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not.
Well, you guys ought to take a look at it. Maybe you and John Benevente can get together and decide whether you agree whether it needs to be completely replaced, or is it something that you can maintain over a very long period, a much longer period of time, because it's the bargaining chip now.
Yeah, well, because I was also sitting there thinking about, because like the one in Manila, because they're saying how many millions they've spent on rent, and I was listening the other day how they were talking about even before anyone actually looked at the building, the director had decided that the building was condemned.
Moving
and
out.
Started, looking at property.
We're moving out.
Yeah, we're moving out. And it's just like, that's kind of crazy.
I know exactly. I know that feeling. Kel, it's always fun talking with you. You have a fantastic weekend, all right?
You too.
You drive carefully because I can hear the windshield wipers going back and forth in the car. Yeah, so there is that. I'm not going to say I've got personal experience, but I remember once upon a time the family was invited to go and take a look at a house. And somebody said, "Oh, you're going to love this house, and it's got a swimming pool, there's a lot of rooms in there, and they totally redid the kitchen and everything." And we talked to the owners, and we couldn't get close on the price. Couldn't get close on the price. But as far as we were concerned, just the act of looking at another place meant that we were definitely within a year moving out of the old place. It was that. You just go, well, there's opportunities to branch into other parts of the real estate. Kids are getting bigger, we got more stuff in the house, et cetera, et cetera. So we decided that the decision was made, we're moving out. We're selling, but we don't know where we're going just yet. Maybe it was one of those things over at Public Health where they're going, "Hey, smell that? Something might be burning. Let's go, move out. Get all the stuff, put it in the trucks, call the mayor, and let's see if we can go and rent some other properties here on Guam. Because at the end of the day, as even the public auditor is pointing out, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that building that cannot necessarily be fixed by bringing in a couple of experts working on the electrical panel, if that was the problem. But structurally, there's nothing wrong with the building that a few $1,000s might not be able to take care of. 655 kind of reminds me, this is the kind of government that we've got here, guys. Kind of reminds me. You remember the administration building in Agana?
I do.
It's just a foundation now. Just the foundation is there. And there used to be, it was a big building, and for a while it housed a big chunk of the administrative branches of the government of Guam. You go in there, get a driver's license. The treasurer's office was there. Governor's and lieutenant governor's office was there. There was just a ton of stuff going on. Arguably, it was a smaller government of Guam. For a long time, it was the seat of the headquarters for the Department of Education. And we're lousy at maintenance around here. And then the guys over at the legislature said, well, yeah, we ought to bulldoze that thing. And there were other voices that said, no, you actually could refurb this building. But there's, you know what? Here's the problem. There's no glory. You do not wrap yourself in glory when you refurb a building. There's no, the hard hat and the gold-plated shovel and the media for, hey, we're going to refurb the old administration building.
Yeah.
You don't wrap yourself up in the Guam flag, and you don't be, bestowed accolades for anything like that. No. You only get that when we're groundbreaking for a new building. So even though we've got a piece of property, might be worth millions of dollars out in Manila, that is sitting all by itself, sitting fallow right now. We've got the money that we've spent renting new locations for DPA, including Hessler, could have been used to refurbish the other building. But as I said, if there's no opportunity for Josh and Lou to go out there and turn the dirt with their gold-plated shovels, probably isn't going to happen.
They could have got the water blaster and made the few swipes.
Dude,
at the algae.
Let's take it over. You guys aren't using it. I'll take it over. Me and Johnny and Tula are going to go in there, and Johnny's going to grow tilapia or something like that. That's me and Real Joe. We're going to go and you know what we need to do? I was joking about Club Manpower, but maybe a Camelot.
Oh, nice.
Got a smile out of Mana. And that's all I really wanted. All right, other items on the table of contents here this morning as I'm going over it, just taking a look at it, is don't forget there's the Pika thing. Do me a favor, go to while you're awake, go to Pika and vote for the point for best radio station on Guam. Even if you don't agree, even if you're just one of those people that tunes in because you hate the sound of my voice, just go there and say, yeah, vote for them. But while you're there, spend a little bit of extra time in a couple of the other divisions and find many of the advertisers of the radio station and support them. I'd really appreciate it. They do a good job, and we try to help spread the word about the great job that they do, and it would be nice if they got recognized for a little bit of that. Speaking of jobs, and I want to take this apart a little bit more because there's so, I'm going to use the word unpack. I know Jerry's going to bristle at this, but I'm going to unpack a little bit. The administering power will only authorize foreign labor to support military projects. And I don't think that's correct, because it seems to me that there's a whole lot of people that would like to be able to get jobs in the construction companies to work on the other side of the fence. But in some cases, you can't do that because you can't pee the right color. I know, hate to say it.
Color good.
I'm just keeping it real, bro.
Color
I'm
good.
just trying to keep it real. My understanding is that every construction company on Guam would love to hire local labor because you don't have to worry so much about them. You pay them some good money. You don't have to worry about transferring to Guam or feeding them 3 times a day or sticking them in a house or paying some of the additional importation fees H2 labor brings along with it on these military projects. I don't know where the hell these people are getting their information. I mean, I could be wrong, and if I am, by all means, point it out to me. But it just seems to me that statement, along with just about everything else I've read in this press release about Guam testifying at the United Nations, is disingenuous on top of almost lies. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. The radio station's KUSG. I got you 93.3. This is The Point. On the way, I've got, is it Fox News Live? We are the Fox affiliate for Guam. Nice. All right, so we got Fox News coming up here in a couple of minutes. Monica Silva Tyron with a look at all the big news and headlines. Jerry Roberts is going to give us the extra point. It's Friday. It's going to be a good one because it's got to make it all the way until Monday. And for some of you in the federal business, maybe all the way to Tuesday. Do feds get Columbus Day off? Do we know? You don't know. You know why? Because we're just kids from the village. We're island kids. That's why. Stand by now. Fox News and The Point.
Brady, Fox News. Hours after a short-term deal was reached to address the nation's debt limit, the first vote is coming. Fox's Jared Halpern is live on Capitol Hill.
A key procedural vote is expected this evening on a debt limit increase proposed by Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. The proposal would be a temporary fix, preventing a potential default later this month. Democrats had forced votes on a longer debt limit suspension that has been blocked by Republicans. It will take at least 10 Republicans to overcome a filibuster before a final vote later tonight. This new deal would increase the debt limit by $480 billion, an amount needed to extend the Treasury Department's resources to pay debt until December 3rd. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. The president, meantime, has been visiting Illinois, a trip he postponed last week to help negotiate his economic agenda. He's been focusing today on vaccine mandates. Fox's Gernal Scott has this live.
Lisa, President Biden spoke at a data center in Elk Grove where the construction company requires vaccination. He said other companies enacting mandates he endorsed to get the shots, and he pointed to a White House report released that shows vaccine effectiveness now and over the years.
The reason most people in America don't worry about polio, measles, mumps, rubella, is because they've been vaccinated.
He says there are still about 67 million people unvaccinated, and they put the economy and others in need of medical care at risk. Lisa.
Thanks, Gernal. The mandate debate, meantime, still playing out in court in some cases. Utah's governor just announcing President Biden will expand 2 sprawling national monuments in Utah that President Trump wanted to downsize that had drawn a mixed reaction. Environmental and tribal groups had sued to reverse that decision. America is listening to Fox News.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer staycation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,900 by calling Family Finance. Agana 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo at 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
There's so much that's new with the Eat Fresh, Refresh at Subway restaurants that we can't possibly fit it all into one radio spot, but I'm gonna try. There are amazing new toppings like hickory smoked bacon, bacon, and smashed avocado. Try your favorite sub on the new breads like the hearty multigrain wheat or the artisan Italian white bread. Not to mention Subway's thicker, juicier steak. That's all I have time for. You gotta refresh to be fresh. Only at Subway.
Parents in Virginia are attending a summit known as Pray, Vote, Stand, focused in part on strengthening families and religious freedom, but now also dipping into involvement in politics.
Parents are learning about ways that they can become more involved in local politics. That includes at school board meetings, but parents tell us they now fear that they are being silenced at these board meetings because the Biden administration is essentially going to make it a little bit tougher for people to voice their concerns. That's what these parents are worried about. They say that the school board meetings that have been happening these last several months are certainly becoming more interesting to watch because a lot more parents are speaking up, worried about what's going on. But officials say they now have to step up because violent threats are getting out of hand. This week, the Attorney General issuing a memo basically directing the government for coming up with new ways to get more involved to protect education officials.
Fox's Mark Meredith in Leesburg, Virginia. Former basketball players are being charged with health care fraud.
18 former NBA players, including Sebastian Telfair, Glenn Big Baby Davis, Darius Miles, and the alleged ringleader of a scheme, Terrence Williams, are among 19 people in all charged with submitting false claims to a supplemental health plan for active and retired NBA players that totaled nearly $4 million in claims and delivered around $2.5 million to the defendants. Indictment brought in New York's Manhattan federal court says records submitted by former players, quote, described medical and dental services that were not in fact provided.
Fox's Jared Max. Federal prosecutors accuse Williams of providing the other former players with false invoices. The NBA calls the allegations disheartening and pledges to fully cooperate with prosecutors. This comes just weeks after several former NFL players pleaded guilty for their roles in a nationwide health care fraud scheme. Wall Street rallies, the Dow up 337 today, but it had been over 500 during the session. Oil prices back over $78 a barrel. And Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Half a day, this is Honey. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
There's a steak with your name on it at the new Longhorn Steakhouse. Flo's Filet is an exceptionally tender center cut. The New York Strip is a steakhouse classic, and Longhorn's famous outlaw ribeye is well marbled and fire grilled. Longhorn is ready and waiting to pour you a margarita and make you a steak. Longhorn Steakhouse is open daily from 11 to 10 p.m.
Tunay na kaibigan at handa para sa inyo. Ang bangko ng kinabukasan, laging maaasahan. And Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Off a day at 7:06. I'm Ana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news on the point. In case you're headed there, rain has forced the COVID-19 testing to be moved to the Micronesia Mall like it was yesterday. They're moving to the parking garage. It's open at 7:30 and will run until 10 a.m. And it's in the underground parking garage closest to the Fatima Road entrance. Both outdoor drive-through locations in Inarahan and in Tejan will be closed again due to the rain. Now, the vaccination clinics also continue at the University of Guam and at the Micronesia Mall as scheduled. The CAR score this morning is at 27.7 after 138 new cases were confirmed. Out of 1,283 people who were tested the day before yesterday, there are 60 people in the hospital with COVID-19. A virtual forum was held yesterday with public health officials to address questions with regard to the COVID response, and doctors say that we remain in a surge. And among the growing COVID cases that are being reported, more kids are getting sick with COVID-19, and a number of them being admitted to the hospital. The Guam Daily Post reports that there are 5 children admitted at GMH, ranging in ages from a day old to 8 years old. 2 children were listed in intensive care. And while the number of new cases seem to have hit a plateau, the Post reports we are steady with case counts every day at over 100. The doctors highlighted data from 2020 in which COVID-19 was listed as the 3rd leading cause of death for Guam. Now, the physicians also point out that their concern remains with the number of recent cases being brought to the hospital dead on arrival and the importance for people to get tested and treated as soon as possible if they have any symptoms. From the Pacific Daily News, the island's public schools won't be able to provide 180 instructional days this school year as required by Guam law. DOE officials may now ask the legislature to waive the requirement to allow them to move forward without having to meet that requirement. DOE says students attending classes under the 2 cohorts are given extra homework for days that they're not on campus, but are still missing out on instructional time, and they're not receiving the full 180 days. The PDN points out that the lost instructional days doesn't affect the students who are online. DOE says if the other option would be to extend the school year and would probably eat into the entire school the summer. That's according to Deputy Superintendent Joe Sanchez. He says DOE is likely to have enough money to fund the extension of the school year. However, it would be a problem contractually as they can't require teachers to work over the summer. Sanchez says DOE will request lawmakers to waive that requirement. They'll also seek the legislature's help in waiving the 75-hour service learning requirement for graduating high school students. We'll have more news right after this.
Hapude, konnichiwa,
Patwa, ciao. Enter for a chance to win the 76 Circle K World Cuisine Giveaway. Be one of 3 lucky winners to win a passport of free food from around the world at over 15 different local restaurants. Just stop by any 76 Circle K, purchase $35 or more in fuel to get an entry form. Drive by today and taste the world with 76 Circle K's World Cuisine Giveaway. Visit 76circlekguam.com for more details. Some conditions apply. Circle K, take it easy.
Police and school officials said that there was no threat to the school yesterday, but they did put Stumbo Elementary on a lockdown after someone heard gunshots fired. It happened just before 2:30 in the afternoon. School administrators initiated a lockdown immediately and called Guam police, and all's clear was given at about 3 o'clock, and students were all said to be safe. The Ganya swimming pool remains closed, and the fate of the decades-old facility won't be known until an assessment is completed. The Post reports an agreement for professional consulting services is under review by the Attorney General after GITA issued an RFP to revisit the viability of the pool and see if it's even worth fixing in the interim. GITA's Deputy Administrator Joanne Camacho says once it's awarded, the assessment of the pool could take between 30 and 40 days. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
I see 7:10 in the morning. Is there weather today? Yeah. Is it the same crap that we've had the other day?
Is there flooding? I think there's a flood advisory and possibly some flooding down south, especially.
Yeah, that's one of a dozen of the press releases that have come out. That one didn't give me a frowny face. I just know it's going to be happening. This is interesting. We were talking about the Iron Dome here, and James Howard sent me a visual of some. I don't know what I wouldn't run the audio because I haven't listened to the thing, but he sent me a visual. This is what the My Radar looks like here this morning. You can see a large pattern in the radius around the island going out by it looks like about 200 miles, and nothing. You've got this line, and then you've got clouds that you can see inside of that. And James Howard says that's the Iron Dome. That's the Iron Dome. It's going to protect all of the islands in the Marianas Chain, Guam, Rota, Tinin, and Saipan. Okay, maybe 100 miles. Maybe it's not quite 200 miles. But anyway, so we've got that weird line, and then you can see the clouds inside the line. So what exactly is that? Is that a trick from the Chinese and the Norks? I don't know. Mostly cloudy skies here today. Scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms in today's forecast. There's going to be lots of heavy showers this morning for Guam. Southeast winds 10 to 15 miles an hour, and highs today about 85 degrees. Tonight, same thing. Mostly cloudy, scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms. East winds 5 to 15 miles an hour, and overnight low should be about 76 degrees. Sunset will be at 6:06. Unfortunately, sunset might look a whole lot like sunrise here today, depending on whether or not we get a glimmer of the sun. Sunrise this morning over at Pirates Cove went from dark to light. That was it. There was no big ball of sunlight coming up over the island. No crepuscular rays or anything like that. And I got a feeling the same thing will happen tonight. But I'm still going to the beach. I'm still going to try it out. Multiple changes of clothes and umbrellas, and maybe, I don't know, even a big tarp. 7:12 in the morning. That's news and weather together here in The Point.
Fall in love with your new home this season by shopping Furniture Kathy Style's unbelievable deals. We've brought in new items and restocked on our best sellers to help you get your home ready for the holiday. We offer free design consultation and financing with up to 12 months of zero interest for you to get what you want and what you need for your home today. Follow us on social media, visit our website at FurnitureKathyStyle.com, or call us at 300-9590 for more information. If you're not buying from us, you're paying too much.
If you're a veteran and have upper extremity and hand problems that's interfering with daily function, have Dr. Jerome Landstrom, board-certified hand surgeon and combat veteran experienced in combat and civilian traumatic injuries, treat your injuries and hand impairments to improve the use of your hands in your activities of daily living. Call 671-646-HAND or visit its website at www.pacifichandsurgery.com. All right, what have I got here? 7:13, even though we don't normally do traffic around this time, I am looking at the traffic gizmo, and I don't see a whole lot here that is going to make you crazy. Obviously, we've got some rain that you're going to have to deal with. Might be some intersection traffic in some of the usual spots. Starting to see things busy up in Jigo, southbound Marine Corps Drive at a couple of the usual locations. Also, traffic up around Ukadu 1 and 3 running a little bit busy here this morning. Got some traffic on Route, where is that? Route 4 going into the Sinahanya and Ordot area. And, of course, we've got traffic now from Sumai, starting to see a little bit of wetness on the roadways into Big Navy for the last couple. Yeah, everybody's excited about tonight, the closing ceremonies for the Citadel exercise, the Operation
the
Exercise
games.
Citadel. Well, they got remember,
games.
it's the no, that's all done. So tonight it's Songfest.
Oh, nice.
It's the Cupcake Bake Off, which is going to be fun and a special. The first time ever, they're going to be including rainbow colors in that, and the flash mob. Be listening for those of you that are in it. Be waiting for information on where they're going to be doing the In the Navy by the Village People flash
Young
mob
man.
for the. Yep.
I know the song, man. Don't ask me why.
So if you were a village person, which would you be? Would you be the cop? You would be the cop because you're already the cop.
I would like to be the construction worker.
Oh, you can't be the construction worker because I'm going to be the construction worker.
Like
Modest Tyron, if you were a village person, which one would you be?
The Indian guy.
I knew it, man. That headdress is beautiful, man.
All the way, man. It's, golly, I missed the 70s. All right, so that's what we got in terms of what's happening on Guam's roadways. Somewhere near all of that traffic congestion is a KFC, and the great news over at the KFC is the Kentucky Fried Chicken Sandwich is on the menu forever, as Lulian Guerrero says. Forever, we're going to have this, and it makes me so happy. It joins already a constellation of great KFC chicken sandwiches. Now they're not. I think they're not doing the fried Doublicious anymore, but you can still get a grilled Doublicious sandwich in there. Among my favorites is the spicy zinger. And that's still on the menu, as well as now that they've got super expertise in the KFC fried chicken sandwich and the zinger and the Doublicious, they have added a KFC Super Deluxe sandwich. And I can tell by looking at it that it has got all of your favorites from all of the other ones. We've got the great made from around here buns. Looks like there's some tomato in it and cheese and bacon and the chicken and the crisp crinkle cut pickles in a thing. Sorry, I'm saying pickles, and I'm already salivating. Think about that. Have it delivered with the guys over at KFC.
The Ray Gibson Show. Any speaker, anytime. Morning talk that matters.
Ding, ding. Iron Dome missile defense system deployed to Guam. Can we get an Iron Dome basically over the legislature and over the governor's office and just, let them live in their own little world and have their own little, government of Guam adventures and the rest of us can, without their involvement, live in a world of peace and prosperity and common sense. Can we do something like that? Can we it wouldn't be the iron. I don't know if we need to make it out of iron. It'd be the bamboo dome or something like that. Make it a tin foil, aluminum foil or something like that. Or just, find a way to sequester these guys in a situation where they're in control of everything that they want to be in control of. And the rest of us will go on with our lives as usual. In my world, if they did that, we put an Iron Dome over the governor's office and the legislature, we'd have working swimming pools. An interesting story, Mana's read a couple of times in the Guam Daily Post, where they're talking about the Agutnia pool awaits an assessment 19 months after it was shut down. And they found John O'Connor, God bless you. John O'Connor, obviously listening to the program because I've been complaining about how, this is a pandemic of comorbidities brought on by people not being able to exercise. And among the great exercise capabilities that there are out there is go swimming. Go swimming in it. Not everybody wants to go swimming at Epau Beach. Not everybody wants to go swimming in Tumon or in the natural pools here. So that's why we built the Agutnia pool once upon a time. And it's amazing that 19 months into a pandemic where people have got comorbidities, we don't have a place where they can go and do some low impact exercises, work on their cardio. But John O'Connor found the guy. He found the guy to talk to about this, and that is Ed Ching. And one of a couple of, and Ed Ching is one of those guys. That's one of the most badass lawyers on Guam. And the guy, once you've crossed the threshold with him, don't expect a filter because you ain't gonna get one. Before, they were talking about the pool has been closed to the public since January 2020, initially due to water quality issues, he said. But before that, off and on, for the last 5 years, the pool has been closed for a total of approximately 4 years, says Ed Ching, president of the Guam Swimming Federation. This frustration more than palpable over the situation. His frustration more than palpable over the situation with the following quote: "It sucks. The government sucks." And that's the only way. It's the only way you can see it. You know, if we didn't have the money before, that's one thing. But we've got the money now. And yeah, it's COVID-19, but work continues. It's not going to take all that much to find somebody to do a kind of assessment. I think it should have an assessment. But one of the reasons they first shut it down is because the government assessed. Their personal assessment was, we shut it down. Why? Oh, they said there was a leak. So what? Is it so bad that you've got to shut it down? The conclusions of their assessments is almost for any reason, shut things down because it doesn't work, because we don't want to work. We don't want to work. And Ed Ching, while they're talking about the swimming pool, could be talking about the building, the main building of the Department of Public Health and Social Services. Yeah, somebody thought they smelled smoke, and they abandoned the building, now paying rent in all kinds of other places on Guam for the privilege of not working in the old building that nobody's bothered to maintain and fix over the years. At any rate, so yeah, I'm with Ed Ching. That's the government response. Shut it down. Bulldoze it. Bulldoze it, cover it up. Let Johnny Atulai have it, and we'll grow tilapia in it. That's what the answer is going to be. 20 after 7 o'clock in the morning. Is this my brother Pat?
It is our brother.
The brother Patrick Kahan is on the line, and I'm not going to be asking you about crap shippo questions. Not because I really don't care. But I do want to say good morning to you there, brother Pat, and a big announcement we're going to make. I'm probably going to call you back later because I got Jerry Robertson. He's got the extra point, so we're going to make this one here short and then go on to the rest of it. Last month we were running promos about every other hour on all of my radio stations, alerting people to a great event, sports event that's going to be coming up, where we look for Guam's strongest people.
Yes.
And then the governor had one of these, I don't know, panic moments, and then they shut the island down again, and everybody's been freaked out ever since then. And there have been multiple restrictions on whatever. But you have decided that you've got a date, and we're going forward with the Guam Strongest Person Challenge.
Man, we are, and we're so happy that we've got a new date. It's October 30th, Saturday, the end of the month. You know, the athletes, we boiled it down to 6 men and 6 women. They've been training so hard. They peaked for September 11, and then we had to hold court. Now that we've got a new date of October 30th, they're back on the grind. They're working hard. Man, this is so exciting, Ray. And you know what? The other thing is, with the delay, we were able to get a little bit more interest on the sponsorship side.
Cool.
So now the winners, both the men and the women, will receive $1,000 on top of being known as the Guam's strongest man and women.
Oh, I dig that.
You know, the cool thing about it is one of our own former star athletes, from Simon Sanchez, football star, volleyball star. He was a Guam national volleyball player, Michael Silvas, Dr. Silvas. From California, he reached out to me and he goes, "Hey man, how can I get involved?" He's been watching this. He owns Mobilized Sports Chiropractor in Northern California. He used to be the chiropractor for the Golden State Warriors. And I was like, man, Mike, we really appreciate it. He still has the Get Up and Move slogan on his logo in California. Yeah, it's super cool. And so, you know, we have even our former residents, you know, Guam former national players saying, hey, how can I get involved in this? And so he's been chipping in, and you know, it's just fun to watch how these athletes are actually working together and training together. It's like I haven't seen it in any other sport.
So it's not. This is not the Squid Games then. I mean, we're not going to do anything where they're going to be.
Definitely not. Yeah, it's not a green light, red light. So man, it's the hype is back on. We're moving along with October 30th, and man, everyone is just invited to come and watch these guys perform. The thing is they're telling me their stories that you think they were strong a month ago. They're even stronger now, lifting more now because of all the training. So. Man, it's super exciting.
All right, the Guam Strongest Person contest on the 30th of October. Be listening for details and the promotional announcements and things like that. That will have some of the other information that you're going to need. You and I will talk again a little bit later on today or Monday and get some more on this, all right?
Awesome. Love you guys.
All right, man. Talk to you pretty soon, Brother Patrick. Love Trish, too, and hugging a kiss to Trish. Lots of kisses. 7:23 in the morning. Ray Gibson Show. As we make our way into some of the economic portions of the program, take a look at what's happening in the markets. Although there's really only one market that I'm actually concerned with right now, and that's the fuel market. Are you ready, Jerry? Let's start with these numbers here. West Texas crude now up $78.78. It was trading at $77.30 or something like that
Before
yesterday.
he gets to the next number, I am predicting there shall be no rate increase at the pumps, regardless of what he's going to say next.
All right, that's fine. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
And fair enough. I mean, you got a 50-50 chance of getting it right. We'll see what happens. The new number for Tapas, and again, for those of you that have just tuned in and go, Tapas, what's that? That sounds like fun, some kind of fun game that you play at the old Club Camelot. No, Tapas is a kind of oil that comes out of Singapore. They refine that product. It turns into the gasoline that all of the gas companies use to put into your car. Currently, $4.85 for a gallon of Tapas crude. That number was based on Tapas trading around the low 80s. Today, Tapas crude is at $85.
It was higher the other day.
85 even. I don't know that it was higher the other day. It was 84.16 the other day.
Was it 87 or something like last week?
81.55, 80 and 4 cents going back about to the beginning of the week. So I don't know. No, 85 is the high water mark here.
I repeat what I said. There shall be no rate increase at the pumps.
All right. So is it eat a bug time? If he's right, eat a bug. If he's wrong, you decide. We'll take a look at some of the other numbers just real quick. S&P 500 green by 36. NASDAQ closing up 152 points. Dow Jones Industrial Average up by 337 points. They close at 34,754. Kramer on the watch now saying that maybe you need to take a look. Those of you that do a little bit of pruning of your portfolios on an active basis, taking a look at tech stocks, and because the guys are all saying they're undervalued right now. So go in there and take a look at some of these lower valued tech stocks. The fundamentals of the companies are still good. Fundamentals of the relationship between the companies and their customers are still good. They're just underpriced because. So start finding some of those and adding them to your portfolio, or buying additional shares in the stocks that you love. Tesla today up by $10, 793 points. Don't have much by way of any of the other numbers. Bitcoin, Real Joe?
54,321. We're in the green.
54 and green and
we're
climbing.
In the green.
It was touching 55 yesterday.
Crazy. It was just 47 at the beginning of the week, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay, so what changed? Anybody want to venture a guess?
The desire to suck more people in for the next crash. That's the deal.
Gotcha.
That's how it works.
Gotcha. All right. Well, Jerry Roberts is in the studio. It's Friday, and are you going to continue the quotes tradition that you've begun?
No, actually, today we're going to go away from quotes for a bit. Somebody had recently mentioned to me, I'm a big believer in leading without a title, right? You can be a leader without a title, okay? And believe in that for 20 years, since a guy named Mark Sanborn came out with a book called How to Be a Leader Without a Title. So, and I liked it. And so I've been a proponent of that. And someone the other day said, that's, you said it recently, and I think it sounds great, but in actual practice, I don't know if you can do that. So I said, today's the day.
All right. Well, let's hear about it. This would be good enough to keep everybody till Monday.
Anybody can be a leader.
For folks in the federal government and attached to the Fed system, enjoy your 3-day weekend. Columbus Day is coming up, and for a big chunk of the of the community here,
and Monday?
No, not us. We're private sector local, and we use a completely different calendar.
I
so
would
we're
be
working.
upset. I want to be here.
That's the man. What's going on? All right, Jerry Roberts in the Extra Point, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and the team at First Hawaiian Bank.
How easy is it to be a leader if you're not the boss? Do you think leadership would be more fun and satisfying if you didn't also have to be the boss? Let's talk about being a leader if you're not yet a leader. Next on the Extra Point.
When's the last time you looked at your homeowner's insurance?
We buy a homeowner's policy and never give it another thought until something happens. Life brings changes, and our coverage needs can change. The smart thing to do is get the answers and level up our insurance to make sure we're totally protected.
That's the Insurance Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today by calling Guahan Insurance Services at 475-1162 or visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center in Tamuning.
Raise your glasses for a toast because First Hawaiian Bank now turns your meals into a reason to celebrate. Every dollar you spend on dining purchases, including fast food, earns you up to 3 times United miles. Simply use your First Hawaiian Bank United credit card and start reaping the most rewarding credit card experience on island. Terms and restrictions apply. Don't have a First Hawaiian Bank credit card? Visit any branch or FHB.com to apply today. With First Hawaiian Bank, it all starts with yes.
There are ways to lead at every level of an organization, whether or not you have a title that says you're somebody's boss. Now, if you agree with that statement, what qualities would it be helpful to have in order to be a leader without a title? John C. Maxwell, who leads a world-class group of speakers in the 2021 Live to Lead conference coming in November, says that leadership is all about influence. If we can influence someone's thoughts and behavior, we can lead them. So what does that look like? How can you build up that influence? Here are 8 principles that will get you there. Number 1, be good at your job. Competence is attractive. When you display to others that you know what you're doing day in and day out, it gives them confidence in you. Confidence is a key component when it comes to influence. Know your stuff. Number 2, communicate well. Staying in communication builds trust and can help build and create new opportunities for you. Update team members on progress. They begin to rely upon you for information. That trust converts to influence. Number 3, help others succeed. This not only includes the people on your team, but also elsewhere in the organization. When you go out of your way to assist others, in essence, nudging or pushing them over the goal line, that is leadership. Number 4, be open to feedback and be willing to change. The subjects of feedback and change are touchy, as many workers are resistant to both. Work with your boss and maybe your boss's boss to get that kind of feedback and coaching that will help you to grow. Question the advice you get so you fully understand its significance, and then do your best to make good use of it. Instead of belly aching about changes, you'll lean into them and help others to do the same. That shows leadership, and it's huge when it comes to influence. Number 5, be an idea person. You don't have to be an Einstein to share ideas. Make suggestions on how to bring improvements. Collaborate with others who do the same. When you're all about ideas, it shows that you're all about leadership. Okay, so far so good. In the effort to display leadership when you don't have a title to go along with your efforts. Now, we get into 3 areas that can derail any and all of the last 5 positive things mentioned. Number 6, not admitting when you're wrong. Some people see being wrong as a sign of weakness that must be hidden from the boss and others. The problem is, if and when, and it's usually when, not if, your secret is discovered, all that trust that you built up, maybe for years, is gone in a flash. I mean, it's so easy to say, I screwed up, or I screwed up royally. Come clean about it. Apologize. Face the music. Leaders own up to mistakes, and they learn from them. Number 7, not walking the walk. If you don't lead by example, nobody will trust you, and they're not going to want to follow you. This is like the first item, being good at what you do. People notice. They know if you're real or you're not. And number 8, complaining about coworkers in public and spreading gossip. This is rampant in many organizations. Leaders don't do it. If you've got a problem with a team member, go to them and address it. As far as gossip goes, if you are a spreader of gossip, did you know that the people you spread it to sometimes might wonder what you could be saying about them when they're not around? You can be a leader without a title. You can. Many people show leadership in these ways and eventually might be rewarded with a title. In any case, it's a great way to approach both career and life. Teach this lesson to the kids in your life. That's the extra point. Be responsible and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank, I'm Jerry Roberts.
It's 7:33, and as usual, you mentioned something that touched a nerve here. One of them is when you've made a mistake, own up to it, admit it. I did it. I'm sorry. I think, though, that there are a lot of people who are too willing to fall on the sword early and go, okay, yep, I screwed up. I know that you expect more from me, but and because they know that the penalty might be that I might get yelled at a little bit.
They're trying to deflect that.
Yeah, I might get yelled at a little bit, so I know you're not going to fire me. I know you're not going to cut my hours. I know you're upset, and you're probably going to growl at me for a little bit, and I'm prepared now to accept that as my punishment. But you get enough of that, and they know over time that there's no real teeth to any kind of punishment.
That's right.
So what do you do about that? I mean, at some point, you're going to have to fire somebody, right? At some point, you're going to have to squid game somebody.
I would sit with an individual and say, you don't have to do that. You don't have to come in and try to head me off at the pass.
Right.
I mean, don't judge me in advance of who and what you think I am and how I may or may not discipline you. I would say just do the best you can. Trust in who I am. And trust me to do the right thing.
In a rare moment here, Cousin Troy's on the line and wants to conference with you on the subject. Cousin Troy, you're on with Jerry Roberts. Good morning.
Hey, Troy.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone. And good morning, my favoriteest and most beautifulest cousin in the whole wide world, if she's still there.
She's still
Good morning, my most favoriteest, most beautifulest cousin in the whole wide world.
I love you guys. So I was listening to Jerry's number 6, and I thought, gosh, I don't know if he meant the timing to be so perfect for the Daphne Shimizu KOM event, but I want to sort of rewind the clock to 2011 and an example of how an apology and owning up to mistakes, an apology that is without qualification can really work to win people over, or at least to not have them hate you so much. So remember,
let Jerry just reprise number 6 real quick for everybody that might have missed it.
Not admitting when you're wrong. Some people seeing being wrong is a sign of weakness. Go ahead, Roy.
Oh yeah. So remember when Sahara Defensor and Mike D. Maggot had that. They were in Ray Tenorio's office, and Ray's wife at the time, Notch, was yelling at them and cussing at them, and one of them had it on tape, and the tape got leaked, and everyone was like, what an itch, Notch, what an itchy thing for her to do. And
yeah.
Everyone was pissed off, and social media was sort of becoming a thing back then, and being able to send videos and audio files around, and it was something that grew legs overnight. It was something that was released at night, and it grew legs until the following morning. And we had to figure out real quick what the hell we were going to do. And the solution was very simple in my mind. It was not, you got to apologize, without any qualification. And you gotta just own up to, and she did. And she said, I did this. There is no excuse. I'm so sorry. And she went on radio and TV and did all of that. And it was over. And, it was over within a few days. And then, juxtapose that with her ex-husband, Ray Tenorio, in 2018, it was the gun grabbing incident. And, I apologize. It was insincere. But it was a teachable moment. There was a qualification, He wasn't really owning up to the mistake. And then what happened yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever it was, seems like an eternity already, when KOM did that thing with Daphne Shimizu. And the most bizarre thing was Chris Barnett not just qualifying the mistake and not owning up to it, but trying to blame Adaloop in return. It was just so bizarre.
I didn't obviously don't listen to him, but I thought I follow him on Twitter, and I thought one of the Twitter responses was weird. It's like sorry, but one of the takeaways is people aren't happy with Adaloop, and I'm going, well, one is not equal the other, and try to stay on focus. So in this case, and with regard to their apology, I think it was a day late. Their initial statement, frankly, was all about KUAM. It had nothing to do. It really didn't have address any of of the situation or any hurt feelings or any of what the potential ramifications were based on this, quote, inadvertent error and Daphne Shimazu. I thought their statement was mostly about how it was I, me, my. You know what I mean?
They should have hired Jerry to give them some advice before they allowed Chris to start tweeting all that stuff.
Well, Jerry, we might get Jerry in the process. The weekend is coming up, Tori, and you know how I am. It's possible that I might make a KUAM level mistake and have to apologize it before the entire community between here and the end of Columbus Day.
But I think the difference is, Cousin Ray, is that you would own up to a mistake, and you wouldn't mince any words about it, and you wouldn't try to make it sound officious and pretty. You know what I mean?
Vote for me. It's all true.
It's all true. That there's more that you don't even know.
Exactly. Where were you Monday night, Ray Gibson? I don't know. It's on the candidate somewhere. Cuz it's always fun talking with you. Maybe a little bit later on we'll go over a couple of things. I thought it was interesting. The press release that came out from the governor's office. Apparently we're traveling again. We're traveling. And what vital important state missions are we sending our lieutenant governor and Melvin Juan Pat Borja to? We send them to the United Nations to talk crap about the United States and the administering powers treatment of us peons here on Guam.
Didn't we just ask for a lot of money from the United States?
We didn't ask for a lot of money they gave it to us. They're putting an Iron Dome anti-missile defense system over the island, and these guys are ticked off on I think their misinterpretations of what contributes to labor costs. I mean, you got to take a look at this. The administering power will only authorize foreign labor to support military projects. That's bull. You look in the back page of the newspapers, and there's all kinds of ads from all kinds of construction companies looking for locals to work on all of their projects, not just the ones on this side of the fence. We need people on both sides. So you talk to the guys over at Black, they'll tell you how big their local workforce is, and they're proud of it.
The labor shortage is it's a failure directly linked to our leaders. It's directly linked to our lack of commitment to education. That's what the current labor shortage is about. And we've known this for years. And every governor has had an opportunity to fix that. And I don't know. The last big investment in school infrastructure was in the Gutierrez administration. The last effort to get the schools together, as in the public school system, along with GCC and UOG to align things was, if I'm not mistaken, 1998 or 1999.
And we see the benefits of that still today. There's just not enough of it, and not enough happening in the schools to provide these kids with some basics on an education that could get them to work. They refer to this only authorizing foreign labor to support military projects, contributing to a twofold increase in the cost of construction here on Guam. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no greater example of the fact that people in the government of Guam have no idea how the real world works. The cost of construction on Guam is up for a variety of reasons, including access to the raw materials. Pieces of wood that used to cost you $20 back in the day, yeah, they're $40 now. You know why? Because that's the cost that Home Depot and Benson have to pay to bring it to Guam. I mean, there's transportation costs and imports and importing fees and duties and things like that. Cost of power everywhere has gone up. Cost of water, manpower, and all of the payments that you got to make just to bring H2s to Guam. And where did those payments? Why did they get increased? Because Regine Bisco Lee a few years ago over at the legislature thought it would be a good idea to take some of that and put that in workforce development.
Yeah. You're preaching to the choir here.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, listen, the choir members like to know that they're right, and it's nice to know that you see things about my ways as well. More on that a little bit later on, because you and I might spend a little bit more time on the radio talking about some of the other weird anomalies that we seem to be living with. Jerry Roberts, appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
And we go from Jerry Roberts at 7:42 to the 7:30 news here, being brought to you by the guys Ken and Karen over at Top End Pest Control. You know, the crazy weather has a crazy impact, and that is a lot of the bugs and the varmints that live outside when it's nice want to be inside where you are because it's dry and there's air conditioning and you drop food from the kitchen table. If you don't like that, then you might want to call Ken and Karen today, and they'll see about sending somebody by there to take care of those varmints. No varmints over at BK. BK is celebrating Chicken Fries Friday. Say it. I love BK chicken fries when you hit them at the drive-thru. And if it's too early for chicken fries, swing by there and try the Breakfast Bacon King. Why don't you? And Auntie Loli Cammett of Remax Diamond Realty can talk to you about some crazy real estate stuff going out there, including she might be able to hook you up with a deal that could get you to own a bunch of acres, 14, 15 acres in Harmon for about $6 million. And while that might sound like a whole lot of money to me and you, in guys that are in real estate and building up facilities for warehousing and light manufacturing, that might be a good price. 688-6743 is her telephone number. It's 743 Montecillo Tire and Hoffa. What happened?
Well, the rains forced the closure of the Teads testing that has been scheduled. It's moving to the Micronesia Mall underground parking lot. Go to the Fatima Road entrance. It starts at 7:30 and will run until 10 a.m. The outdoor drive-through in Inarahan is also canceled for today. The vaccination clinics, however, those are still on schedule at the University of Guam as well as the Micronesia Mall. There were 138 new positive cases out of 1,200 people who were tested the day before yesterday. 60 people listed admitted at the Guam Memorial Hospital. And senators will go into session this afternoon at 12:30 for the state services for the late Roman Kanata, who was the former commissioner of the municipality of Talafofo. And that will be at 12:30 at the Guam legislature. And those are your headlines right here on The Point.
Thank you very much. 7:44 in the morning. There's Montecillo Tire. With a look at that, we'll take a look at what's happening in the traffic gizmo and fill your ears with other bizarre and unusual thoughts from the mind of Ray Gibson as the program continues.
Celebrating Halloween 2021, Chicken Fries Friday is back. Every Friday in October, visit any participating Burger King and say, I love BK Chicken Fries, and get a free 9-piece chicken fries with purchase of a chicken fries combo meal. Perfect for dipping in our barbecue, honey mustard, ranch, zesty, and sweet and sour sauces. Top off your chicken fries with our mozzarella sticks and a refreshing Coca-Cola. BK Tuman Bay, Hagatnya, Micronesia Mall, and the airport. BK, your way.
Becoming a homeowner can be a scary process, but it doesn't have to be, especially if you have the right guidance. Break through your fears and go to a real estate professional that will ensure a higher chance of success. That person is Lolita Cammett of Remax Diamond Realty. Lolita also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, and military and corporate relocation. Don't be afraid. Call Lolita Cammett from Remax Diamond Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
7:45 in the morning, Ray Gibson Show, and one of the things that I'm excited about is everybody kind of taking an opportunity, with the void years now that is COVID-19, taking an opportunity to take a look at some of their fundamental business practices and saying, I'll bet we can do that better. And you know who some of them are? Guys over at Subway. Never be happy with whatever you got out there. You think you got perfection with a 9-grain honey oat. Somebody comes along and says, I've got another kind of wheat bread that has even more grains in it. And you go, yeah, let's try that on Ray Gibson's BMT. And they did. They've got an artisan Italian bread that's out there, and their bacon. I don't know what they did, different whatever. Maybe they're getting from different pigs, but even crispier, thicker and crispier bacon. Refresh your favorite sandwich today at Subway.
Top End Pest Control is who you call for all your pest control needs. Got a problem with roaches, ants, spiders, rodents, fleas, ticks, termites? No problem. They do it all. Top End Pest Control is a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business and HubZone certified. Serving Guam since 2012. Call them today for a quote, 487-5657, or email topendpest@gmail.com. Check them out on Facebook at Top End Pest Control and give them a like. Top End Pest Control for all your pest control needs.
Do I want it? I don't know. I got a piece of video from Lee Weber. And the only problem is I wish I could speed this thing up because it's not an Iron Dome thing, but what it is a high-speed cannon. Or as my auntie used to say, canyon. It's a high-speed canyon. I've got the thing. I can put it up on the screen, and you can see some tracer bullets coming out from somewhere. And eventually, by and by, the canyon in the foreground of the shot is going to take off and start blasting things out of the sky. And it's amazing. We got all kinds of computerization in here, and the idea is it's just going to throw up a curtain of lead. And so anything that tries to get in front of it, and its incredible locating capabilities, doesn't stand an actual chance. Can we get one of these as well? We'll have the THAAD. which is okay. And then the Iron Dome thing. I don't know if we're going to be getting the Aegis or if we're going to be getting something like this, and what duplicates one from the other. You know who would know? You know who would know? Ismail.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he could tell us so.
He might. I don't. You know what? Why don't you, Ismail? We're talking about you. I know that you're not doing anything because your wife brings in all the money for the family. No, she's a photographer.
I know.
I'll tell you what, Ismail. Here's the deal. I got a deal for you. You call in and tell us about the different systems that they've got out there. Just from a layman's perspective, and we'll give you an opportunity to talk about your wife's photography studio, so people can go to the Pika thing and like her. What do you say? Even trade? Come on, Ismail. You know you want to do it. It's 7:48 in the morning. What was I supposed to do? Traffic? Was supposed to let everybody know what was going on the roadways. All right, here's the gizmo. I just refreshed this a couple of minutes ago, but around this time of day, you can't take your eyes off of it because traffic changes. And sure enough, we're looking at traffic on intersection of 1 and 3 going into 1 and 3 is looking a little bit busy. Over by the schools, it was busy, but it looks like all of that has cleaned itself off. No major traffic in front of some for the Guam International Airport, Guam International Air Force. We don't see a whole lot happening in the village of Jigo. We pow to Waisang Song, running busy, and then we'll make our way down into Upper Tumon and the Tamuning area. Intersection traffic, lots of it over at ITC building, over at EPAL Road intersection as well. And if you're at the end of the EPAL Road street, in front of the Hilton, I know you're probably waiting to go straight into the Hilton or something like that, dogging up to the car in front of you. Because everybody in a line that's going to the Hilton, get really close to the car in front of you. And the reason why is because I guarantee 3 cars back is a guy that's waiting for the light to turn green so he can just make a right-hand turn and merge into traffic. Be a nice guy for that guy and let him out. See a lot of traffic up in the Sinahanya/Ordot area. It looks like inbound traffic is going to be slowing down on the way in. Don't see too much on the way down to Big Navy in Sumai until you get to Polaris Point. Until you get around there, and my guess is it's flooding and the road conditions are probably lousy. I'm looking at stop-and-go traffic, mostly stop from about Polaris Point into Big Navy in Sumai. Also traffic on Route 2 spilling onto Route 1. Looks like that's running a little bit slower as usual and because of the congestion moving in the other direction. 10 away from the top of the hour. More Ray Gibson after these.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
Contact Express Financial for all your financial needs. Express Financial is consumer lending at its very best. They also have a host of dealer service programs with quick approvals. There are 3 ways to apply. Over the phone at 637-9834. You may visit their office in person at 600 Harmon Loop Road across the street from Costules. Or you can also visit their webpage and apply at myexpressfinancial.com. In most cases, you'll get your money the same day.
So I got another message from Chanel.
Oh, wow.
Dear media. That's me. When she's talking about the media, she's talking about me. It's basically it's the poster. It's the update poster in preparation of inclement weather today. Operations at the old Carnival grounds in Teedzin and the Southern Regional Community Health Center will be moved temporarily to the Micronesia Mall. It will take place in the parking garage on the Payless side, starting at 7:30, and will go until 10 o'clock this morning, et cetera, et cetera. So if you are lining up for a test, man, you Southerners got a long way to go. Got to get out there. Got to get on Marine Corps Drive and all the way up to the Micronesia Mall.
Yeah, pack snacks, bro.
That's a 2-day drive, right?
Yes.
Yeah, all the way up there from Sanadza, all the way up.
$75 of gas, yeah.
Oh my God! Didn't even think of that. Didn't even think of that. Gas at $4.85 for a gallon of that stuff today, and then then it's $85. That's the new price for tapas. But don't worry, the guy in the newspaper, they did a follow up here, and because Mike St. Nicholas is is digging around on gas prices, and a gas retailer on Guam says business in Guam is highly competitive. Saying that because we have been and will continue to operate and adhere to strict company policies and standards of business conduct, including business ethics and antitrust compliance. We do not support or engage in any anti-competitive establishments. They talk about a little bit of gamesmanship here. It is precisely because of this keen competition that companies will not allow the others a price advantage at the retail pumps. Which means if one company says we're selling gas for $4.85, all of the other companies say, okay, nobody is. It's an odd kind of gamesmanship when you think about it, but it for the most part has kept things fairly even, and to the degree that it's predictable is interesting. Where you've got one gas station that says, okay, I'll sell it for $4.85, and the other guys will say, even though our retail price might be $4.87 or $4.90, we don't want one gas station to have that competitive advantage.
You can see the competition in their rewards programs, and they have like the points programs and your loyalty rewards and all of those things. So that's where I'm seeing the competition brewing.
The most recent one to come out is the one from over. It's the Pacific Points one from over at Foodies and Shell.
Yeah.
And I have got. Okay, so I don't have any major issues with it, except by the time I remember that I'm in the store and I'm buying stuff that will go in I've got my mask on. And this thing does facial recognition, which obviously doesn't see through the mask. But I think it's like they anticipated that. So it's a one-button login system. You don't need to put your username and a password in. You just press the one button and it'll go, oh, it's you again. And so I've got 800 points on my bonus program, and I can already start getting stuff for that. I think
you can get the gum, Ray.
No, I think I can get a 12-pack of beer.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean...
then the other competition that I've seen is if you buy $35 worth of gas, you can go in and buy toilet paper for $5 for a 28 roll or something like that.
Well, weren't they doing that with eggs for a while?
Yeah, so it depends on whatever the highlight item is for the week.
Okay, and then you've got the plus where, and I don't know how many gas stations are working with them, but if you're First Hawaiian Bank, if you got a card, use that card, and then you get a discount on the gasoline on the purchase. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it. However, I mean, if you really want to get into the scrap on this, is somebody needs to get a hold of the people that live under the bamboo dome. No, that doesn't sound right. You know why? Because it implies a certain amount of intelligence. I would like to put a dome over the government of Guam, over Adelup and over at the legislature. I'd like to put some kind of a dome. Now, what's the? I'm looking for something that's got the consistency of like tapioca pudding, because I think that's a consistency of some of the brain power in there. People of Guam, lots and lots of people aren't working. Lots and lots of people are having a hard time making ends meet these days, and we're still taking 15 cents a gallon for liquid fuels tax. We're still charging 5% business privilege tax on lots and lots of goods and services that the people of Guam absolutely need. Why are we making it more expensive, especially since we have gazillions of federal dollars that we can spend to offset what the pennies that we might lose in all these different transactions? But hey, that's just me. Real Joe told me I had to do a commercial for Longhorn Steakhouse. Happy to do that. Go to Longhorn Steakhouse Guam. That's their Facebook page, and you might also, I think they're in the Picadillo. If they are, give them a like. Why don't you? And check out the incredible menu. Now they've got, as you might imagine, it's a steakhouse. There's lots of different steaks that you can get your a knife and a fork around. The Longhorn, Outlaw Ribeye, Fire Grilled T-Bone. And I got to get myself one of these. 18 ounces worth of T-bone steak, and you're gonna love the price when you get in there. I just don't know. Can I eat a whole T-bone steak? Is that possible?
You can, Ray.
You think?
You can do it, man.
Does that come with rice? With rice? With rice. If not, try the other great sides that you can get: Parmesan cheese crust, and since it's cheese, ask Ken Leon Guerrero. That's carbs in it. Horseradishy sauces, donazzis, and chimichurros, and plenty more. Try that at Long. What a great way to start off the weekend. Is it payday for a lot of people? Good for you. Take that paycheck and go enjoy it at Longhorn Steakhouse Guam. Time. What is it, 7:50? Oh, it's almost going to be Fox News time. I got Terry DeBold on the line. That's my coach, Terry DeBold. How you doing? Oh, wait, I got to push the button. Terry, how you there?
Hey, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I know I can hear you just fine. I noticed something. I wanted to give you guys a plug for it because I've been a customer of yours over at Guam GU Self Storage in Harmon.
Thank you. Yes,
oh
sir.
no problem. You can't miss it. It's right just before you get to McDonald's, and it's got this. There's a tank in front of the thing.
Yeah,
and
I'm putting a spigot there. You know,
it's got beer in it. I know it's got beer in it. Leonard Calvo told me there's beer. He told me there's Miller Genuine Draft inside there, and anytime I want to, I can come by and grab a growler of it. Anyway, not enough time to talk about it, but you guys are doing I call it storage wars, but you've had to make accommodations because it's COVID-19. So it's a silent auction. Is that what's going to be taking place?
That's correct. Same auction. We're just going to be doing it silent. In other words, you come in, you schedule a visit, come in, take a look at the units that are going to be going up for auction, and then you write down your offers on whichever unit you may want, if any. And then at a later date, we take all the offers. There's a deadline, and the best bidder wins.
But I don't know what's inside there, Terry DeBolt.
No, you get to come. You get to schedule a time to come and see the units. We open it for you.
Oh, you will open it for me.
Yeah, you don't get to touch the stuff and go in, but it's the same as a normal auction where we open it, you kind of take a look.
Oh, that's okay. I haven't seen the show in a long time. They do that, right? On the TV show, they do that. They'll open it up, and everybody gets to look inside for a couple of seconds, and then they close it, and you don't know what's in those boxes. It could be all kinds of incredible treasure, it's the Nazi World War II stolen gold, or it could be, like
dirty laundry.
yeah, old clothes from the '60s. Is this cash and carry? Or are you guys going to take credit cards?
Yes, it is. It's cash and carry. Well, I mean, we take credit cards, but yeah, for the most part, you pay if you win, you come in, you pay, and you have to take it, and you need to take everything. You don't get to just take the good items in there.
Roll the dumpsters up.
We don't have a trash service, so yeah, you take everything.
Now, I don't have enough time now because I got the news coming up in a second, but we'll schedule some time. This is not going to be taking place for a little while, so it's not the first time we'll talk about it. But
I know for sure your unit's not on the list, so don't worry about it.
I'm not being charged for anything that I know of. I actually moved into a house, so I was able to, and that's the great thing about what these services are for. Sometimes you need someplace to out of sight, out of mind forever, and then you just look. I just need some temporary storage before I move into someplace else, and that's the great thing about GU Self Storage. A lot of different sizes, a lot of different styles, and maybe next time we talk, you can tell me about what you guys have been up to, what some of the trends are, and when we're going to be opening up GU Self Storage 2 and 3 and 4, because I know that there's enough demand for it.
There it is.
All right. Well, we'll get around it. We'll get around to talking about that pretty soon.
Thank you very much, Ray.
Not a problem. Always love talking with you. Are you guys? Is there a self-storage thing on Pika? I don't know. Stand by now. It's time for Fox News Live.
Majority Leader Chuck Schumer scrapped a vote on a long-term debt limit suspension that Republicans were sure to block after GOP leader Mitch McConnell offered the short-term solution.
To spare the American people a manufactured crisis.
Congress was facing an October 18th deadline to extend the debt limit before Treasury warned it would default. The new deal would increase the borrowing limit by $480 billion. The figure needed to run until December 3rd. That's the same day government funding is due to expire.
Fox's Jared Halpern on Capitol Hill. President Biden made a stop in Elk Grove, Illinois this afternoon as he pushes private employers to put vaccine mandates in place again, saying we are now in a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
The unvaccinated overcrowd our hospitals, overrunning emergency rooms and intensive care units. The unvaccinated patients are leaving no room for someone with a heart attack or in need of a cancer operation, and so much more because they can't get into the ICU, they can't get into the operating room.
The president said businesses have the power to change the arc of the pandemic. In the Bay Area, change is coming to mask mandates.
San Francisco's Mayor London Breed and the County Department of Health said as long as case rates stay the same or fall even more, the indoor mask mandate can end October 15th. In certain circumstances. So in offices, gyms, or houses of worship and such places where the same people meet regularly and all of those people are vaccinated.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. The Bay Area has high vaccination rates, with Marin County reporting as of 3 weeks ago, 97% of those eligible having at least one dose. Wall Street, the deal on the debt limit pushed stocks higher. The Dow added 337, the NASDAQ plus 152. America is listening to Fox News.
Looking for a seamless medical trip to Manila? St. Luke's Medical Center's Pacific Islands Medical Referral Package offers a convenient end-to-end medical travel service to St. Luke's Global City. With the package, they also provide assistance in the processing of your air travel requirements, airport to hospital transportation, and hospital room upgrades, all for free. To learn more, call Phil MD at 671-637-5433 or visit their office in Tamuning across the Baltej. At St. Luke's, we love life.
When making the new Kentucky Fried Chicken sandwich, people asked how I felt about burger places selling fried chicken. I'd say that's none of my business. It's like making fried chicken is none of theirs. The new Kentucky Fried Chicken sandwich with mayo, pickles, and a quarter-pound filet as far as the eye can see. Get comfy. It's gonna be a while.
The new Kentucky Fried Chicken Sandwich is back for good, along with the new all-white meat KFC chicken sandwiches, Zinger, Super Deluxe, and Grilled Doublicious. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Russia pushes back as NATO kicks out people it claims are spies.
Russia says prospects of normalizing relations with NATO have been almost completely undermined after the alliance expelled 8 Russian officials from NATO headquarters, describing them as undeclared spies. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg.
This decision is not linked to any particular event.
Blamed Russian aggression.
We have seen over some time now an increase in Russian malign activity.
He said NATO-Russia relations are at their lowest point since the Cold War. In London, Simon Owen, Fox News.
Poland's constitutional court has ruled that some European Union laws are in conflict with Poland's constitution. The decision is expected to define the future of Poland's already troubled relationship with the EU. TikTok is speaking out about a rumored challenge involving teachers.
School officials across the nation sharing warnings about a so-called TikTok challenge dubbed Slap a Teacher. They say can put educators at risk. Reps for TikTok tweeting the rumored slap a teacher dare is an insult to educators everywhere. And while this is not a trend on TikTok, if at any point it shows up, content will be removed. Officials also condemning the devious licks challenge, which encourages students to break or steal school property. TikTok says it does not allow content that promotes or enables criminal activities, explaining it's removing this content and redirecting searches to its community guidelines. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Dolly Parton and her businesses have raised $700,000 to help residents impacted by the catastrophic flooding in Middle Tennessee in August. In a news release, she said she will use the United Way of Humphreys County to distribute the money at the suggestion of her friend, fellow country music legend Loretta Lynn. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Hafaday, this is Severina. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
Hafaday, konnichiwa,
patois, ciao. Enter for a chance to win the 76 Circle K World Cuisine Giveaway. Be one of 3 lucky winners to win a passport of free food from around the world at over 15 different local restaurants. Just stop by any 76 Circle K, purchase $35 or more in fuel to get an entry form. Drive by today and taste the world with 76 Circle K's World Cuisine Giveaway. Visit 76circlekguam.com for more details. Some conditions apply. Circle K, take it easy.
Over the past 5 years, confidential data and network breaches have doubled for small and large businesses, resulting in huge financial loss. At GTA, our multi-threat security bundle is a cost-effective solution monitored by our team of experts, ready to detect known malware and stop new evolving cyber threats before entering your network.
Protect your business with confidence and call 671-644-1000 or visit gta.net/enterprise. GTA, we start with you.
Your local news is brought to you by Nambo Insurance. Skip the line, pay online. It's fast, it's easy, and it's secure. Visit nambo.com for more information.
Today it's 8:06. I'm Ana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news on the point. Well, the rains forced the cancellation of the COVID testing at the Teads Carnival grounds. However, it is being held over at the Micronesia Mall. It opened up at 7:30 and will run until 10 in the morning. It is on the Payless side of the Micronesia Mall. Both outdoor drive-through locations in Inarahan and Tizen will be closed. Depending on the weather, it should resume tomorrow. The vaccination will continue, though, at the University of Guam and at the mall as scheduled. The CAR score this morning is at 27.7 after 138 new cases were recorded in the JIC report. That's out of 1,283 people who were tested. There are 60 people in the hospital with COVID-19. Also, yesterday, a virtual forum was held with public health officials and doctors to address questions with regard to the COVID response. Doctors saying that we're still in a surge and concern with the growing COVID cases being reported, especially with kids now getting sick and a number of them being admitted to the hospital. The Guam Daily Post reports there are 5 children admitted at GMH with COVID-19, and they range in age from a day old to 8 years old. 2 of the children are in pediatric intensive care. The doctors also point out that while we may appear to be in a plateau, there remains a steady case count that exceeds 100 every day. Doctors highlighted data from 2020, which pointed out that COVID-19 is the 3rd leading cause of death on Guam. Also, physicians pointing out that they're concerned with the number of recent cases being brought into the hospital dead on arrival, and stress again the importance of people getting tested and treated as soon as possible if they have any COVID symptoms. From the Pacific Daily News, the island's public schools won't be able to provide 180 instructional days in this school year as required by Guam law, and DOE officials may seek the help of the legislature in waiving that requirement. DOE says that students attending classes under the 2 cohorts are given extra homework. However, they're not on campus and are still missing out on instructional time. The PDN points out that the lost instructional days doesn't affect the students who are online, though. DOE says if they have to proceed, they would have to extend the school year into the summer, and it creates some contractual issues since they are not able to require teachers to teach during the summer. Well, more news right after this.
Go green, go solar, and save big with Nambo Insurance. When you power up your home with solar panels, Nambo Insurance will pay up to $350 toward your power bill. With Nambo, you can enjoy great savings while going green and helping to save Guam's environment. At Nambo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit Nambo.com or call 477-9754 for details. Nambo Insurance, proudly serving Guam for over 50 years.
The man arrested in a stabbing that took place in Dededo last August now faces charges of attempted murder following his arrest this week. 39-year-old Manuel Jr. Cabrera Tatato appeared in the Superior Court and was charged with aggravated attempted murder, and aggravated assault, each with a special allegation of use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. He was also charged with kidnapping. He's alleged to have beaten and stabbed a man before wrapping him in a tarp and setting him on fire. And a Navy sailor who died in Pearl Harbor nearly 80 years ago was finally laid to rest in San Diego. Navy steward's mate, second class Jesus Garcia, who is a native of Guam, was just 20 years old when he was killed, serving aboard the USS Oklahoma in 1941 at the time of Japan's infamous attack on Pearl Harbor. He and hundreds of others went without official identification for decades. His name is recorded now on the courts of missing at the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific, along with the others who are still missing from World War II. And police and school officials didn't find any threat at the school yesterday. However, the Estumbo Elementary was placed on lockdown after reports of a suspected gunfire. It happened just before 2:30, but all of the students were marked safe after the lockdown was lifted about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
Before we get to the weather, looks like we've got a spot of accident. Looks like around the Pagat Trailhead. That's what the traffic gizmo is telling me. That's where there seems to be a little bit of congestion in that area. You can see it on the traffic gizmo on your screen right now. Traffic in both directions are snarled on Route 15 up and down, just as he said, when you get down to the Pagat Trailhead. You can tell where the Pagat Trailhead is because there's still a couple of of abandoned junk and burned out vehicles in the area. You know, one of these days, with all that federal money we've got, we might be able to go down there and clean some of that stuff up. I'm saying that now, but actually it's been a while since I've been there. They might have already cleaned it up. Doubt it. Now, here's what the accident looks like. I got a couple of folks sending me images of it. I thought I was going to get a video here, but it's not. It's just a picture of the video, and you can see where right across from the house we've got a car in the boondocks and got another car along the way. And I'm not a mechanic, but I don't think the tires are supposed to look like that on a regular driving automobile. And from the looks of the car, it's possible that the accident's done somebody a favor. Not this one though. This one looks like it's fairly new and looks like it might have been the victim of a T-bone. Expect some delays again through that area. Route 15 by the intersection over by the Paga Trailhead, and that's all I've got for you now. If there's something else going on, there might be some other traffic enforcement. They're going into Police Week, and they could use some money for some of the big awards that they're doing, and an opportunity for some of the cops to write as many tickets as they can between now and the beginning, so that they might line up for that 100. It's a big, I think, a Hisense has it, right? It's one of those big laser TVs, 100 inches. That's going to look good in somebody's house, bro. That's going to be, not that you're ever at the house to try to work on it. All right, 8:12 in the morning. Now, Ismail cannot call in because apparently he's working. Right?
That'd do it.
Who knew? But he's given me a couple of paragraphs worth of a primer on the differences, similarities, and differences between the Iron Dome that we're getting and the THAAD system that we've got, and what else would be cool out there, like the Aegis. But I mean, every single one of these technologies has different strengths and different weaknesses, and different techniques. So we'll talk about that here in a couple of minutes. In the meantime, 8:13 in the morning. Mana asked for weather. You see the road conditions that these cars were involved in on the roadway here this morning. Let me get that back. What is that? It's wet. Color no good. Color no good here as traffic is on Guam's wet roadways. And just because it isn't raining doesn't mean that it is not as slippery as owl snot. I'm going to change that. My old man always used to say that, but we don't have owls here. It's as slippery as carabao snot out there on the roadways, so be very, very careful as you're making your way up and down the roads. We're expecting these conditions to linger with us for a while. Mid-October is what the guy at the National Weather Service said. Brief moments of sunshine, he said. Mostly cloudy today. Scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms, and numerous locally heavy showers this morning for Guam, and that's expected to be part of the forecast for days. Southeast winds 10 to 15 miles an hour, and that's the forecast all the way until Sunday. They're not predicting anything like anything less than mostly cloudy between here and there. Heat index today, if the sun comes out for one of those brief respites, 90 degrees. Sunset tonight is going to be at 6:06. I'm still going to the beach. I'm still going to the beach because that's a great way to cap off a weekend and launch myself into a weekend. Hope I see you there. It's 8:15. I'll be right back.
Now open on Guam, 511 Tactical Gear Guam, offering superior tactical apparel and duty gear for law enforcement, first responders, tactical operators, and recreational enthusiasts. You'll find Guam's largest selection of 511 pants, shirts, jackets, hats, boots, watches, knives, lights, patches, and gear bags. Shop inventories online at tacticalgearguam.com. Located in Harmon, Route 16 Army Drive between Little Wangs and the Dungeon, right next to Bargain Tactical. 511 Tactical Gear Guam. Always be ready.
Fall in love with your new home this season by shopping Furniture Kathy Style's unbelievable deals. We've brought in new items and restocked on our best sellers to help you get your home ready for the holiday. We offer free design consultation and financing with up to 12 months of zero interest for you to get what you want and what you need for your home today. Follow us on social media, visit our website at FurnitureKathyStyle.com, or call us at 300-9590 for more information. If you're not buying from us, you're paying too much.
Portions of the program brought to you by APL, American President Lines. A global presence with a local home, and the guys at Mezcla. Come try Guam's Original Tomorrow restaurant with Pica's best 5 years running. Now, they're going to ask for a vote somewhere in here, and I'm gonna give it to them. Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Experience Chef Peter's candied salmon over scallion coconut rice. They have octopus tinaktak. Oh, that sounds good. They've got a full-blown Chamorro platter and the award-winning gourmet hamburgers. Or if you're looking for something healthier, try the keto-friendly menu. They've got one going for you. What's that? Keto and Chamorro food? Works out perfectly, as a matter of fact.
Octopus tinaktak is keto. That's keto. That's totally keto.
Oh, it's got to be because
Yeah,
because octopuses aren't made from from rice or potatoes. It's Mescla's half a day service at the Agutnia and Grand Plaza Tumon location. Call the Agutnia shop in 479-2652 for reservations, and don't forget to click on them on the PDN's Best of.
It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
So Ismail's quote working. So here's the deal. Do me a favor and maybe see if you can get a hold of Kenny Williams, because Kenny was in the Navy too. Wooden ships and Iron Man.
He was in the Navy.
Yeah. But he knows about the Asia stuff.
All right.
Yeah, and it might be able to give us some details that are unclassified at this time. So see if you can find him. In the meantime, we spent a little bit of time on the radio yesterday with Claire Calvo, very energetic, synergistic individual, and was hoping to create a synergy from among some of the fitness groups and groups, period, and gyms and things like that, and going to the governor and making what I thought was a pretty good claim that you know what, we're actually better for folks in this game, vaccinated or unvaccinated. So maybe we ought to ease off on the restrictions on the individuals that work in these locations, and any of the other restrictions on gyms and fitness groups. And I understand that you got a note from the governor. What'd she say? Claire, are you there? Are you there, Claire?
Hi, good morning. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I hear you just fine. So what did the governor say on what was the response on your request?
So it was basically she was very thankful and gracious with her decline of the request, and she pointed out the fact that because we are a place of gathering and unmasked at some point, that was pretty much it. And that, they respect and they understand how we have committed, to the health and align with, the overall health and wellness of the island. However, due to the fact that, we cannot be masked the entire time that we're in there, and it is considered a gathering place, she cannot
ask her. I don't know how much of a back and forth you want to get in with her, but you might want to ask her to ask some of the people on her physicians advisory group about the efficacy of masks, period.
Right.
Because there's more than one or two people on the physicians advisory group that the only reason why they wear the mask is optics. Otherwise, they will be the first ones to tell you they're pointless in COVID-19, and probably even more ridiculous and pointless in those settings.
Yeah. We actually just read the letter not too long ago. So at this point, I'm just, we tried, I spent a few days on trying to get, going around, get everyone's signatures, writing it out. And this is an entire system. I understand it's not just one, there's a lot going into this, and I'm realizing more and more that no matter what is presented, that there's already a firm decision made. Oh,
hell yeah. Even if it might be wrong, they're not going to back off that decision.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Here's another question for the Physicians Advisory Group, and maybe you could write directly to them, Nate Berg himself, and say, Nate is, or what's the epidemiologist, what's her name, Pabutsky? Ann Pabutsky. Why don't we, let's send a question to Ann and say, how many cases have come from gyms? How many people that have come down, tested positive with COVID-19, or showed up at the hospital with COVID-19 that came from the gym? Can any gym owner, is there anybody in your game that can identify anybody that has gotten COVID-19 from among the huge customer base? A, B, can we prove that it came from the gyms?
Right. In fact, that was one of my comments that I wrote when I saw, there was a lot of support, when it came out on Instagram.
These people are full of crap. I'm sorry. Can you do me a favor, Claire? This is what I need you to do. The only way this is going to change is we can get somebody else at Adeloop. Can you talk to your brother?
Well, he's not at Adeloop.
Well, I know. He says, come on, just go, Eddie. These people are making me mad.
Well, no. Well, the funny thing is, in my family, we are we respect each other's differences. Not everyone is on the same, but we're pretty much split down the line. Some of us wholeheartedly believe that this is, and then there are, some of us, and I can't speak for him, but he truly believes that, yeah, there's a lot of things that are missing out. And, we've spoken about it. And, even with recently, even within our family, we had an event where at least 20 people in my family were infected. Half of them were, contracted it. Half of them were vaccinated, like right down the line.
Yep.
And there was no distinction of everyone had their own set of symptoms. No one ended up in the hospital.
Thank
the
God.
ones who were vaccinated were not any better off than the ones who weren't. And, the only one who, needed a little more care was someone who already had a pre-existing condition. But at the end of the day, there was no clear line between who was vaccinated and who was not. And that's almost kind of like a micro cosm of, seeing something on a small scale. So I don't know, and even the numbers today, it's interesting to me that even though right now it's been about a month, the unvaccinated people have not been mobile, we're not really allowed to participate in. Yet our numbers are continuing to climb. You look at the hospital numbers, and they're still almost 50-50. I would say about 40, with those numbers that they're actually providing.
I think the number that I came up with, based on yesterday's calculations, was about 40%. But it is still. I mean, scalability wise, I mean, maybe there's a rounding error, and there's a bunch of people that we don't know about that are in the hospital. There might be some people that are sick right now that have not been tested, and we can't count them towards the case count. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
And then testing, as far as the testing goes, I'm sorry, but there's one other thing. We really have to make the distinction between death with COVID and from COVID, because it seems to be a very blurry line between how these deaths are being reported.
We're beginning to hear grumblings of things like that. I think that was one of the points that if it didn't come up in the press deal that the epidemiologist did yesterday, I know that there has been a lot of research on it, and yeah, COVID is up there as a culprit in many of these in many of the deaths that we are having. But the bigger picture is that virtually everybody that is dying from COVID has got some kind of underlying condition, some comorbidity, and that's not just Guam. That's everywhere. And the point is that we're going to make again today is that there's a great opportunity that we've got with millions in federal dollars to take a look at the facilities that we've got here on Guam. The idea that there are people that will go out there and take their fitness to nature over at Epau Beach Park or even at the Archbishop Circle. Number one, I think it's fantastic that they're using that, but I think that there are other facilities that we've got here on Guam, the Teedson area, as an example, and I know that your cousins had some designs on the Teedson area, trying to turn it into some kind of an athletic campus where we've got tracks, we've got fields, we've got exercise stations, and we've got multiple courts, and and people can play basketball, they can play volleyball, they can play tennis, they can just any number of things that we can do there, and I'm sure that there have been plans. In fact, I want to say the mayor of Barragata was looking at that area for specifically that, a nice central athletic compound. So instead of just walking around in the streets in Teedson, there'd be some place where people could actually go around a track and do repeats, and they can do sprints, and they can do all kinds of other stuff. But well, we're going to use that money to stand up some of the businesses for the Friends of Adelup, as opposed to trying to make Guam healthier.
Yeah, well, even down at the museum, I'm sorry, but even during when we were free to open back up, we only opened up small scale, and we had a lot of the classes out at the museum, like out in the park area. And I just wanted to make this clear, because I'm seeing a lot of comments, and I try not to read comments and just stick to, the matter at hand directly to and from who I'm addressing. But I feel like many people are describing unvaccinated people as being irresponsible, selfish, negligent. And honestly, most of the people who are really speaking up about this care about what we put in our bodies, to the point where I have spent 17 years personally trying to help you. I had a friend die of cancer in April who I have personally helped, not just financially, but in every way I could, to send her Optimum Health Institute, try to get integrative ways to help out. So it's not like we just, we don't believe in this. I think there's this belief that everyone is wearing tin hats and just just have these extreme quote unquote conspiracy theorist ideas, when so many of those quote unquote conspiracies have really, if anything, we've become, spoiler alert,
Yes.
So it's not, they're no longer conspiracies. And that's what a lot of people are just focusing on is, one broad swoop of they're selfish, they're inconsiderate. No, we take very high measures. We have kept our gym. We have a UVC sanitation air sanitizer. We make sure we do the 6 feet. Everyone has their boxes that they stay in. People wear masks to and from their stations. And, it's 3 women own this company. So, of course, cleanliness is 100% up there, right? We make sure everyone's sweat is wiped. We use high, earth-friendly detergents and whatnot. So, yeah, it's disappointing, but, it's not like I'm completely surprised by the response.
Well, I wish it were other. I wish it was. We're looking at it now. I mean, there's any number of answers that they could have given you, but they're standing on what I think is a ridiculous rock. That unfortunately, they're the party in power. They're the people in power, and they're the ones that are making decisions. And it still has an impact on people's lives and people's businesses. And I think that they need to pay more attention. Now, remember, this is the same administration. These are the same people that pretended to listen to Mary Rhodes over at GHRA, and at the end of the day, cold-cocked them after months of support in the hospitality industry and making deals and providing safe places for quarantine people and the folks that needed to be put away for a while. I forget what the isolation facilities and didn't seem to care what Mary Rhodes said about any mandates for restaurants and the hospitality industry and bars any further than what they've already got. Didn't listen to any of that compromise. So I'm not completely surprised at this. And I'd like Eddie to come out and say, huh? You made my sister mad? That's it.
No.
I'm running for governor. It's over now, Lou. Done. I'm coming for you.
Honestly, it's not even about making me mad. I've learned through many trials, you pick yourself back up, and it's not even about me. I don't need to be at Synergy. I really don't. I'm thinking of people, right now we're not talking about suicide rates. We're not talking about not just the physical, but the mental, emotional strain that people have been going through. And believe it or not, going to the gym, going to a place, because someone said, oh, well, why don't you just do it by yourself at home or out, but that's what I do.
Oh, who you get that from? You know who you get that from? You get that from people that have never been to the gym. You get that from people that have never really been in exercises, workout programs. You get that from people who have never trained for something like a strongman competition or like a marathon or any of that stuff. It's like, oh, why don't you just do it on your own? No, you know what? It's important. There's a fellowship of the rings when you're training for stuff, and that's I think one of the whole points of places like Synergy. It's a great place for all the girls to get together, and we're going to yoga and we're going to gossip, and you're going to do hot yoga, and the girls are going to fart. We talked about that yesterday after the phone call. But it's a sisterhood, for heaven's sakes, and everybody supports everybody, and there's WhatsApp groups, and everybody is keeping each other kind of in check, keeping each other honest about their workouts, and even when you're not at the gym, okay, what are you doing today? Did you work out today? What was your diet today? You keep tabs on each other. People that don't work out, and I can see the big size 50 person sitting behind a desk making these rules on behalf of the people that are working out, that would like that camaraderie.
Yeah. Because even before all of this, if we saw a regular member not coming in, we would reach out to them and make sure everything's okay with them. And even now, even when everything was shut down, we made sure we continued with our Zoom classes. We reached out to people during our WhatsApp, in our WhatsApp chats. We had online or just, WhatsApp groups for detox. And, right now, that's what we're continuing to do because, unfortunately, there's still some people who are not. And I don't care if it's even just 5% of our membership. If one person, I just don't feel right. If one person is being discriminated against, to me, that just, it makes me just want even more so to reach out and be connected to that person, at least on Zoom or however way I can.
We'll keep watching this fight here, Claire, and I know your family's got your own TV and radio stations, but if there's anything that you need, you can always come to me. All right?
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, you have a fantastic rest of the day. Hope you have a great weekend, and some hot box yoga. What do you think, Real Joe? You want to try it?
I don't know.
I bugged Mana about yoga yesterday. Did I bug you at all about yoga? You ever done it?
No, I've never done it.
Why not?
I'm not flexible, man. And I can't hold a fart to save my life.
So, but here's the thing: is you're not flexible the first time. This is what I've heard about it. Is you're not flexible the first time because you're bending, you're flexing at places where you haven't flexed in a long time or just not used to flexing, and your muscles are going to say, "Whoa there, hey." Off a real Joe, what are you trying to do? But after you do it a couple of times, it's like any other exercise. And after a couple of times, you condition your body.
They have modifications. So if you can't do the advanced level
if you're
stretches
or you can modify
poses, you could modify down to like the lie flat on the ground.
I don't know if I could wear those yoga pants, man. I just can't.
Oh,
do
dude, come on. Come on. Look like you're smuggling grapes. It's Real Joe over there, 831 over here. Montecillo Tyrant has got news and headlines coming up, and a little bit later on, I will read to you from the book of Ismael on the difference between, what do we got? The differences between your Aegis, your Thads, your Iron Dome, et cetera, as opposed to just going to be, and thank God the U.S. military is here, because if the Chinese and the North Koreans were shooting missiles and things like that at us, it'd come down to me and a couple of guys outside with our guns aiming at the rocket. That's what we'd be down to, guys. But it's not the case. We do have a little bit of backup here. We'll talk about that and more as the Ray Gibson Show continues. Mana's got her last look at news next.
Looking to furnish your home? Furniture Kathy Style offers a wide variety of beautiful quality home furnishings at affordable prices. Find the best deals with mattresses starting at $169, sofas as low as $699, bed frames starting at $399, and dining sets starting at $499. Schedule a free design consultation and let us help you create a home you love. Follow us on social media, visit our website at FurnitureKathyStyle.com or call us at $395.90 for more information. Shop with us today.
Great news, Guam! Chili's 2 for Dining is back. Enjoy a full-on meal deal made for 2 for just $35. Start with 2 Coca-Cola beverages, an appetizer to share, and 2 mouth-watering entrees like the sizzling personal fajitas, the mouth-watering honey chipotle steak and shrimp, or Chili's world-famous fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Available for a limited time. Dine in today or call 648-7377 to place to-go orders. Chili's is located on the 2nd floor of Tumon Sands Plaza. Chili's. Savor the moment.
Guam Auto Spot has the best selection in Buick, GMC, Mitsubishi, and used cars like the 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage starting at $127 per paycheck. 0 down. Call 671-478-AUTO to take a test drive or get pre-approved online at GuamAutospot.com.
Hey guys. Remember yesterday I was talking with Dave Del Sola from the Department of Labor?
I remember.
Hey, remember that? And so he was over at the legislature, and near as I can tell, nobody asked him the question over at the legislature about the Biden's vaccine mandate with OSHA, right?
Really?
I don't think anybody asked him.
No.
So I asked him yesterday, and he's like, I haven't actually seen anything on that. There's no paperwork coming out of DOL in the States. No paperwork seems to be coming out of the guys over at OSHA. And I'm going, well, I wonder what that's all about. I am not, as it turns out, the only one in the media business that is asking that question. And I'm not saying that there's another brilliant mind sitting around in some other newsroom on Guam. There's not. Are you taking a picture of us? Are we selfieing? Troy's asking for, hey, okay, is this going on Candid? Okay, gay post. Gay. Yee. Okay. Anyway, there's a magazine. What is it, the Federalist Papers or something? Yeah, the Federalist, so World Wide Web deal and part of the legitimate press, if you will. Joe Biden's vaccine mandate doesn't exist. It's just a press release. Nothing's been done on it. As you've all heard, I'm reading from the story now, Joe Biden's alleged vaccine mandate for private companies employing 100 or more people, it was all over the news even before he announced it on the 9th of September. His announcement has jeopardized the employment of millions of Americans and increased worker shortages in critical domains such as healthcare, and also causing a great deal of anxiety for people that aren't vaccinated that are working in companies of 100 plus. There's only one problem. It's all a mirage. Biden's so-called vaccine mandate doesn't exist, at least not yet. So far, all we have is his press conference and other made-for-media huffing and puffing. No such rule, even claiming to be legally binding, has been issued yet. That's why nearly 24 Republican attorney generals who've publicly voiced their opposition to the clearly unconstitutional and illegal mandate haven't yet filed suit against it. And there is no mandate to haul it into court, and that may be part of the plan. According to several sources, so far it appears no such mandate has been sent to the White House's Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs yet for approval. The White House and OSHA and the Department of Labor have not released any official guidance for the alleged mandate. There's no executive order. There's nothing here but press statements. So what's up? Despite what you may have been falsely led to believe by the media fantasy projection machine, press statements have no legal authority. And so there's more to this story, and I might come and read a little bit more from it. But it's just an example of you know, the way things work in Washington, D.C. You get the president up on a deal, and he says things, and he makes statements, and people begin to start acting on all of those. There's a lot of businesses, a lot of employees of businesses, like I said, anxiety, but there are a lot of businesses that are moving in that direction anyway, but don't want their employees pissed off at them, and we're looking at that as cover. Oh, Biden said, therefore, so we'll watch and see. And trust me, there are companies out here on Guam, 100 employees plus, that were looking at exactly that, wondering what their responsibilities were going to be. Fortunately, many of them have not pulled the plug, and it looks like for good reason. It's 8:37 in the morning. Mana Silva Tyrant has got that last big look at news and headlines here this morning. Off of Mana, what happened?
Both outdoor drive-through COVID tests are closed because of the weather. That's in Inarohan and in Teton. If you're looking to get tested, go to the Micronesia Mall. They've moved it to the underground parking lot over by the Payless side. Public Health says they should resume testing tomorrow at Teton, depending on the weather, but today it'll run until 10 a.m. The vaccination clinics, though, they continue at the University of Guam as well as the Micronesia Mall as scheduled. The CAR score is at 27.7 this morning after 138 new positive cases were identified out of 1,200 people who were tested. 60 are in the hospital. Meanwhile, public health officials say we're still going through a surge, and they're still seeing about 100 or more cases confirmed every single day. They are concerned, too, with kids getting sick, and a number of them have been admitted to the hospital. Of the 60 cases that are admitted, 5 of them are children. Two kids, they say, are in the pediatric intensive care unit. And from the Pacific Daily News, DOE is looking at how they're going to address the lack of instructional time over at the public schools. They're saying that the kids are not getting the 180 instructional days as required by Guam law. They may be asking the legislature to waive that requirement. And those are your headlines right here on The Point.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I've got really no opinion on that one way or the other. The kids have been screwed. The teachers have been screwed by this whole thing, and it's going to come down. And do you? It will write an essay. Do you think you should graduate from high school this year? Yes or no? Compare and contrast your freshman year and your senior year. We'll come up with some kind of an assignment, and if they do it halfway right, then we'll go ahead and let them. Here's your diploma. Congratulations. Not only diploma 4.0. With an asterisk says COVID grade is the way it works. That's what you'll be judged on. Did you wear your mask properly? Did you use hand sanitizer? Can you instinctively see the difference between 3 feet and 6 feet? That's how we're going to grade the kids. And can you imagine in another 10 or 15 years, they'll be running things around here. Isn't that great? 8:39, be right back.
Anyone have loss of use of a hand or hands from an injury, stroke, birth defect, or pain? Then reach out to a specialist in upper extremity and hand surgery care by contacting Dr. Jerome Landstrom, board-certified reconstructive hand surgeon and microsurgeon. 671-646-HAND or visit his website at www.pacifichandsurgery.com.
There's so much that's new with the Eat Fresh, Refresh at Subway restaurants that we can't possibly fit it all into one radio spot, but I'm gonna try. There are amazing new toppings like hickory smoked bacon, bacon, and smashed avocado. Try your favorite sub on the new breads like the hearty multigrain wheat or the artisan Italian white bread. Not to mention Subway's thicker, juicier steak. That's all I have time for. You gotta refresh to be fresh. Only at Subway.
Okay, love you, bye. Okay, I just turned on the microphone. So everybody heard you say you love me, and that's my little sister, Mana Silva Tyrant. She's going to go and enjoy the weekend. Don't forget, we're working Monday. It's not a holiday for us, right? But I tell you what, why don't you come in about 5:30, and then you can leave about 8:30 on Monday. Half day, Mana. What do you say? 8:40 in the morning, 888-8255. Now, just before Mana left, you know what she did, Real Joe? You know
What'd you do? What'd you do?
Air freshener.
Oh, wow, nice.
No, she didn't air freshener. But she sent me this. She sent me this. Apparently, this is going to be a part of a candidate survey. Now, for those of you that you can't see it if you're just listening on the radio, but if you're watching on Facebook Live and YouTube Live and the Point GU, we've got there's pictures of 4 individuals there. We've got Congressman Mike Nicholas. The next frame is Eddie Jerome Baza-Calvo. Then we've got Frank Blas Jr. And then there's Lulian Guerrero. Now, what do you suppose the point of this survey is? What do you suppose? Okay.
Who can do the most push-ups?
Who's got the highest IQ? Who can fold a napkin into a swan? Who can pick the most Donny Peppers? Just any number of things. I got a feeling it has to do with the upcoming gubernatorial election, 2022, going to be marred by an election. I'm sorry, marked by an election. Either way, I'm still correct. But we'll have an election in 2022. And Governor Lulian Guerrero has already indicated that she's having a good time over at Adelup and wants to keep the job for another 4 years. Personally, I don't think Guam can afford another 4 years of anything that feels like this current administration. But that's, as I said personally. Then you got Congressman Mike Nicholas over in Congress, and some say that no, and this even his detractors are saying no, Mike's doing a good job in Washington. He should stay there. No, he should not come out here and run against Lulian Guerrero. No, Mikey, I changed my mind about you. You're doing a great job for the people of Guam and Washington, D.C. No, boy, stay there, you. And then you got from the Republican side, Frank Blas Jr., who is not yet confirmed on my program that he's going to be running for governor. Normally, when Frank does stuff like this, he will gather the Father Duenas class of 1980 for drinks and barbecue over at Dyron's place, and then we have a conversation about his intentions. But he has not yet done that, so I don't know that Frank Blas Jr. has any concrete plans at this time to run for governor. Then there's the picture with Eddie Jerome Baza-Calvo. I'm zooming in on this because that's the Eddie Jerome Baza-Calvo grin. And you just never know with him. Although my conversations with Frank Arreola say, no, Eddie Calvo is not running for governor. And Eddie has in some places, I believe, publicly said that he's not running for governor. Is it, I'm not running for governor? Maybe he's running for governor light. Maybe, hey. I will take another opportunity for all 4 of the people up on this survey that the candidate is going to have. I would suggest that the Republicans stand down any attempt at Adelup. You work well with Mike Nicholas. Let Mike go and beat Lulian Guerrero. Take Adelup. You know Mikey's a fiscal conservative. You know you can talk to the guy. You know you can talk sense to him. And yeah, I mean, he's got an ego like everybody else in politics. But seems to me that when confronted, I've had conversations with the guy. We get into deep thoughts and debates from time to time. And if I'm right, he'll tell me I'm right. If I'm wrong, he'll tell me I'm wrong. It's just he's that kind of guy. And I think his outlook here would be for the benefit of all of the people of Guam, not just of Guam employees and retirees. Having said that, let Mike win Adelup. Don't put anybody up against Mike. You got a great name like Eddie Jerome Baza-Calvo. Have him run for the 37th Guam legislature. The guy would win on a walk. He would win on a walk. Frank Blas Jr., another shot, another year, 2 years at the legislature, no problem. So instead of handicapping the party by taking yourself out and running for Adelup, stay in there. You, Eddie, Felix Camacho. I've said Joe Ada. I don't think it'd be all that difficult to ask Joe to come down. And for all the old guys at the legislature, we'd have a nap time. And among these guys, you could probably get a consensus on them. If they got the majority, they could turn it into a part-time legislature, especially for the old farts. And just go, look, I don't want to be here all day, guys. I don't want to talk about straws. I don't want to talk about plastic bags and paper bags. I don't want to talk about same-sex bathrooms or any of that crap. We just come in, get the budget done, confirm all these appointments, and then just get out of the way of everything, unless Mike screws up, which will always be the overt threat. But it being the Republican Party of Guam and a party of egos far larger than mine, I don't anticipate any of that kind of thing is going to happen. If it does, I'll eat a bug. 8:45 in the morning. I was supposed to do something. Was that commercial or traffic or?
Nissan.
Yeah. Well, that's not a commercial, man. That's love.
Yeah.
That's love. Look, wait. Nissan coffee mug, okay? That's how much I dig the product. And they make cars like they make these things, strong as steel, with all kinds of wonderful features on the inside. This might be the safest coffee mug on the planet just because it has the Nissan logo. All the vehicles come with incredible high-tech safety attachments on them, things that you'd never even thought of. And you know, we've had issues around here with people forgetting their kids in the back seat of cars. They've got a thing. It knows when you've opened the back door to the car. And it will remind you as you're walking away from the car that you forgot something in there. Maybe it's your briefcase, maybe it's a kid, but it's innovative technology like that makes these among the safest cars in the world. There are more cameras and sensors on this thing than there are in your iPhone. It knows where it is in space and time, and it knows where everything else is in space and time. So if you're encroaching in somebody's lane or they're encroaching on yours, it will let you know. So take a test drive. My recommendation, the Pathfinder, great family car, great business car, and something that you're going to enjoy driving because it has more Bose speakers than my house. So check it out today and a test drive at NissanGuam.com. Oh, look at this guy, 8:47 in the morning. And we were yakking the other day. He says, hey, you want me to call in? I said, yeah, about the usual time after 9 o'clock. And he's like, one day I'll merit drive time. And I'm like, okay. And so here's what I said. Oh, okay, this morning, Doc, call in at 7:40, right? That's magical drive time in the radio game.
Yeah.
And Doc says, oh, I can't do it today. See, It's like being married. You know, where do you want to eat? And it always comes back down to Jamaican Grill. Anyway, 8:47 in the morning. Somebody says, here's how it worked out. Where do you want to eat? I don't know. I'm craving rice. Let's go to food truck. Okay, I went to the one place at the food truck where they don't give you rice. Yeah, it's just like that. Anyway, Dr. George Macris on the line from the Free Zone in Florida. Good morning, Dr. Macris. How's it feel to be the only surviving member of the state, in the entire state of Florida?
It's kind of tough. I got to just go through all the bodies. But listen, yeah, I mean, it's great here. There's, again, you don't even sense there's COVID. But if you look at the graphs, which I tried to send you yesterday, of what's happening in Florida, which did not lock down, did not mandate anything, you can see that they're vertically down. Deaths are very few in a state of 22 to 23 million. Not counting all the snowbirds, which are coming down.
I was going to say all the old people.
Positive tests. Right, and we have an older population. And again, I just want to remind, they changed the definition. They converted test to case. Positive tests are not cases. And which, you know, I've been following the Guam news. Hospitalizations with COVID do not mean of COVID, especially when I hear a one-day-old baby. That can't possibly be COVID.
Okay, so you read my mind. You read my mind. I looked at that in the front page of the news. I said, that's ridiculous. A one-day-old baby, two-day-old baby, and we've got them testing positive. Where did they go? Did they go to bingo? Did they go to the bingo hall? Are they running around with people at the Department of Education and getting sick? Their entire lives have been at Guam Memorial Hospital. Are you telling me that the baby department at GMH needs to be what it was, Clorox Cavalry and Pine Sol Patrol so we can get rid of the COVID there?
Right. We suspected that numbers were being fabricated. Now I think it's virtually proven. So anyway, you know, you have to start disregarding a lot of the numbers coming out because the tests are also can be manipulated to be positive if you want or to be negative depending on how they dial up the cycles. But I wanted to, you know, there's a pathway out. Guam still has still is doing very well when it comes to mortality, even with all the comorbidities on island, and even that when you assume that those patients actually died of COVID, of which the vast majority probably did not. Guam is still doing very well. And the pathway out, Guam is, again, ahead of the curve. You have more and more people with hybrid immunity. That means they have natural immunity plus vaccinated immunity, which will fade. And, you know, to continuously agitate and create fear, I see as counterproductive. So anyway, that's been a standard. You know, we've been discussing this, and doesn't seem like anybody listens anymore.
Well,
But
they might listen, but there's clearly an agenda of one kind or another, and that is to scare people into compliance with all the different rules and regulations that they've got, and to feel like we are being blessed when a restriction is one day magically lifted on the people. I just, I wonder about when those are going to be. And we sit around here and talk about what the CAR score is now, how many people in the hospital. I don't know what we're aiming for around here, and it doesn't make any sense now. Are we just going to be in a land of perpetual segregation between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated? Are we going to live in a land where people that have gotten COVID-19 and have antibodies and have a natural resistance to COVID-19 and maybe the variants, they're not even recognized? I mean, it's not like there's you can go and apply, I think, for a card that says that you've already had the disease and you ought not to be vaccinated or tested for 6 months a year. And nobody seemed to catch this. There was a story, I want to say, in the Daily Post the other day, Doc, where they were talking about the efficacy of the different vaccines that are out there. And hold on a second. The article said Pfizer loses its efficacy over 6 months. They say it goes from 88% to 47%. But correct me if I'm wrong. When we first started talking about the Pfizer, wasn't that with its published efficacy when it came out was like 94%?
Well, those numbers are changing, and they're subject to the powers of marketability and selective, group analysis. I mean, originally, JJ, and JJ may still be one of the better ones in the long run, but it's changing from week to week. 1 week ago or 2 weeks ago, Moderna was, the desired one. So that will change. I just want to say I am pro-vaccination. The vaccine does work, and what it's going to do, our way out, and Guam's way out, and everywhere's way out, is to have the vaccine soften the blow in those at risk for the real COVID case. Once you get the real COVID case, to some extent you're blessed with the natural immunity, but it will be a mild case, at which point, so all those, I sent some graphs to show you the seasonal coronavirus spikes, which are not much different than this coronavirus spike, along with upper respiratory illness spikes, which are all muted this year because it has nothing to do with masks and nothing to do with social distancing, but all about the fact we have been restricting travel from Asia, and it is from Asia where most new influenza arrives, and other upper respiratory disease. They sweep through the country through travel via Hong Kong and other areas. So that's been curtailed. So they try to play it up as the masking and social distancing and all that, and that's a bunch of hooey. Anyway.
Well, as we've been saying, but it's, you say something like that, and they label you as the kid that cries wolf, regardless of whether you've got anything to back it up. And then there, as I point out with Claire Calvo just a few minutes ago, there's a whole other agenda that has nothing to do with science, that has nothing to do, I think, with medicine, that is at play here today, and we've got to find out what that is and figure out how we can address it as a community, because otherwise there's no end in sight to COVID-19. There's no end in sight to any of the restrictions that we've got on us. And we're going to continue to fight about the difference between 5 to 10 people in hospital that are vaccinated or unvaccinated. We're going to be in this ridiculous segregated time until the end of time. Somebody's got to figure out what victory looks like, when we can turn off this war.
Right, and you won't hear much from physicians because they have to, keep their head down for, like I said, Guam is one of these places that has the ability to take reprisal for no reason, but also they, and I have to agree with my colleagues. They're not sending patients off island for care. They're keeping them on island, and therefore, rather than send people to Manila or Hawaii that easily, local clinics, which are entirely capable of taking care of these cases, but albeit at a higher price than off island, will benefit.
Well,
but
and maybe is
is
that some of the agenda, Doc? Is that some of the agenda? Once upon a time, you got a clinic that might be able to take care of something like, my executive checkup, but I preferred to do that. In fact, my insurance company preferred me to do that at St. Luke's. So that's where I went, depriving some of these clinics and everything like that from those valuable Ray Gibson executive clinic, executive checkup dollars. Now, is it possible that's the payback for towing the line for the governor and Adeloop is that we will continue to make it so that travel in and out of the place is difficult, that people will continue to be restricted so that when I do need this care, I'm forced to get it here?
Well, it keeps more money on island, and once again, I think most of the talent is still on Guam, and just to get it off island more inexpensively is not necessarily the way to go. Remembering I was one of those clinics, and years ago, not necessarily now, some of those executive checkups didn't have as much substance to it as you would think. But again, you're not going to hear much from the medical community because they'd be basically shooting themselves in the foot if they began to rally and say, this is absurd. So I kind of looked over the COVID news, and there really wasn't much. There really wasn't much to offer. I mean, as I mentioned, the vaccines are being given, but really you're going to get a positive test anyway. You might as well get natural immunity. That's how the curve really is going to go down. But they're talking about an oral medication. Well, that's worked on animals, small animals so far. So we don't have a I think Merck's making it. We will not have a medical solution anytime soon. So again, as Claire Calvo said, you work on your health, you take your vitamins, and you get the vaccine, and then you prepare to be exposed to the virus and get the natural immunity. And that's what counts. And you need to discourage people from being unnecessarily tested so that these numbers don't appear so artificially inflated.
Well, that's it.
And the government...
But I was going to say that's the problem here is there does not seem to be a whole lot of guidance on all of that. There are some people, and I'm one of them. I think that there might be in some places a good reason to have an amount of rapid testing and weekly testing on employees so that you can stay in front of that in large organizations, schools, et cetera, et cetera. But I think just out in the general population, everybody goes, "Oh, did you hear so and so? 3 or 4 degrees away got COVID-19. You better get yourself tested." Because I was with them and they were with me, and so maybe there might be this cascade effect. So you get 20 people in line at Teedson that don't need to be.
Well, being asymptomatically colonized and not being a spreader, which is the ever so vast majority of the cases, is quite different than being actively symptomatic. But again, for less than $10, now maybe more than about $5 to $10 per finger stick, they could easily set up collection, little sites at the malls and various locations and quantify how many people have actually been exposed, and based upon that, make decisions based on data that can be used to decide how restrictive things should be on Guam. I mean, Guam is getting a bad rap because of it being, having so many detected positive tests per, 100,000.
I don't. Go ahead. I'll finish up here because we only got another minute left on the air. But I point out one of the graphs that you sent me comes from the WHO, and they were looking at numbers. Maybe we need to be very careful about the information that we give them with regard to positive test results, because they are referring to them as confirmed cases. 13,519. Their nomenclature, not mine. Confirmed cases. Although you and I know those are 13,519 positive test results that don't necessarily turn into cases and may be reflective of an individual who's had multiple positive tests.
Right, and they changed the definition of case specifically for COVID. So I know you're running out of time, but what I'm saying is Guam is in good shape. Question the information being put out, and I say it's time to be like Denmark and just move on with your everyday lives, act as if COVID was not around.
I would love that, Doc. I'll talk to you pretty soon. A little bit later on, maybe I'll see if I can get some pictures of Sam Mabini and Bear enjoying some of the incredible weather and good times in Florida, the free zone, where you didn't tell me this, but there's a bar there that looks just like the bar in Star Wars.
I would know that bar, but I'll look for it when my son comes to town.
Okay, good call. I'll talk to you pretty soon. There's Dr. George Macris in the Free Zone. It's just after 9. Here's Fox News.
Funding measure expires. The short-term deal offered by Republican leader Mitch McConnell was made just hours before Democrats were going to force a vote on a debt limit suspension through most of next year. Republicans blocked that, saying Democrats can do that on their own. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she's prepared to have House members return to Washington once the Senate passes the bill. President Biden in Elk Grove, Illinois, this afternoon makes his case for private employers to put COVID vaccine mandates in place.
Vaccination requirements result in more people getting vaccinated. In the past few weeks, as more and more organizations have implemented their own requirements, they've seen their vaccination rates rise dramatically.
The president again saying we are in a pandemic of the unvaccinated with an estimated 70 million Americans not getting a shot. More than a dozen former NBA players indicted in connection with a $4 million health care scheme. The U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York says they falsely made claims for reimbursement for services they never received.
Former first-round draft pick Terrence Williams is the accused mastermind of this conspiracy, submitting fraudulent claims for chiropractic care as far back as 2017, then recruiting other former players to defraud the plan, offering to provide phony invoices from a chiropractor and dentist in Southern California and a wellness office in Washington State. Glenn Davis, Tony Allen, and Shannon Brown are just some of the 18 former players facing federal charges. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
President Biden will expand 2 national monuments in Utah that have been downsized under the Trump administration. America is listening to Fox News.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer staycation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,900 by calling Family Finance. Again, 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo at 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Do you or a loved one have loss of use of a hand or hands from an injury, stroke, birth defect, or pain? Then reach out to a specialist in upper extremity and hand surgery care by contacting Dr. Jerome Landstrom, board-certified reconstructive hand surgeon and microsurgeon. 671-646-HAND, or visit his website at www.pacifichandsurgery.com.
A second major Michigan city moves to bottled water over the risk of lead.
The state of Michigan is strongly urging residents in Benton Harbor along Lake Michigan to turn to bottled water as Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer comes under fire from environmentalists and activist groups accused of not doing enough to respond to years of elevated lead levels in the city. The move as Whitmer runs for re-election in 2022. She's also called for spending $20 million in Benton Harbor to replace service lines suspected of containing lead, similar to changes made following the Flint water crisis in 2014. The state, for now, rolling out handouts of free water and filters. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
A federal grand jury has convicted a Chicago ticket broker of bilking the White Sox out of hundreds of thousands of dollars by fraudulently selling tickets to the team's games with the help of 2 White Sox ticket sellers. Bruce Lee has been convicted of 11 counts of wire fraud. He's set to be sentenced in January. Fewer people signing up for unemployment benefits in early October. A sign layoffs are declining.
There's an improvement in the number of people added to receive unemployment benefits. There were 326,000 new claims last week, a decline of 38,000 from the week before. It's a better than expected reading. Continuing claims, those still receiving benefits, also dropped to 2.71 million. Economists were expecting the labor market to stabilize last week after the impact of Hurricane Ida and also the recent summer spike in COVID cases. The number of continuing claims has been pushed down by the expiration of supplemental federal benefits. Jenny Coselda, Fox News.
Wall Street, the deal on the debt limit pushed stocks higher. The Dow added 337, the Nasdaq plus 152. The S&P gained 36 points. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
As we get back to business, Docomo Pacific is ready to keep you connected. Introducing Business Bundles Plus. Build a customized bundle with the right internet, mobile, TV, and phone plan for your business. Pay for exactly what you need and nothing you don't. And the more services you add, the more you save. Plus, you can rely on Docomo Pacific's fastest, most reliable network and 24/7 customer support. So build your own bundle and save today with Business Bundles Plus. Call 671-688-2677. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Choosing health insurance for my family is difficult. I need to know our health insurance will protect us now and in the future. Take Care members have access to the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs, and a high-quality credentialed network of on- and off-island healthcare providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and urgent care. My family choose Take Care. Your family should also consider choosing Take Care. Call 671-647-3526 for more information. Take Care, our island, your health plan.
Ray Gibson Show brought to you by American President Lines and the guys over at APL. Global presence with a local home, and the other guys over at Pyology. Although I must say that and I don't know what it is, it seems like the more efficient ones were the girls when I go hang out there. Maybe just me being a member of the patriarchy. But I like going over to the Pyology place, getting the pizzas the way I like them. My brand of crust, my brand of sauce, as much cheese or as little cheese as I want. Because sometimes you want to be able to just get the thing as just a mass of goo on top of it with all kinds of little meat things that are hanging off of it. Doesn't that sound great? Doesn't that sound like you can smell it now, can't you? And you're going, yeah, I've got this in my, now I've got the flavor in my mouth. What do I do about it? Well, they're going to open before too much longer, and you and your pals go down there. It's what? Tell you what, do it this way. And there is no greater experience than turning on a friend to Pyology. Trust me on this one. I know, because you go somebody and they go, well, Pyology, what's that? And you go, it's basically an assembly line. You build the pizza your own way. And they go, no way. What does it cost, $100 a pie? No, you're going to love it. You're going to get a couple of pies for the price of everybody else's single pie. So try that out today. Do that for lunch. And if you're not eating a lot of carbs these days, they can take all of the incredible toppings that they would put on your pizza and put it in a salad for you. Try that with some teas and some whatevers. They got beer there, too. Hey, just saying. Treat yourself because it's Friday to some Pyology.
The Coconut Wireless is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. Yep. That's 888-8255.
Kill an hour. Got to kill an hour of valuable talk radio real estate here on 93.3 The Point. Great to have everybody online and hanging out this morning, and great with all of the different submissions that we have. Dr. Sam Abini has been out of town in what I like to refer to as the free zone, and if I look, I'll see exactly where. Well, I don't know exactly where she was. There's a place there with a Little Mermaid, and there's lots of beach, like Panama City Beach in Orlando. In Florida.
Oh, yeah.
And they're apparently there for a couple of weeks.
The Mouse still run that town?
The Mouse?
Yeah.
Yes. It says, we wore masks, stayed safe, but did our activities mostly outdoors. Florida was normal and a great place to vacay. And in addition to, just hanging out there and being in the free zone. I wonder if Dr. Mabini got a chance to see Dr. Macris. At any rate, in addition to all of that, there are apparently some attractions there. And this is one of them. Some of you that are big Star Wars fans will go, how come we don't have that here? Well, first of all, it would be here, but half of the people that would want to go can't go because they're not vaccinated. But there is a place there that is reminiscent of the Star Wars Cantina. Oga's Cantina is the name of it. Star Wars Galaxy Edge Disney. Oh, it's at Disneyland. It's at Disneyland.
Oh, wow.
Do you think they have booze there?
Maybe, yeah. They could.
Okay, I don't have time to look it up, but if you get a chance, I'll ask you to take a look and see if you can find out, because I'd love to go to a bar that was themed after. I mean, look at it. It looks just like the thing in the movie.
Yeah.
I would love to go to some place that was themed after the cantina in Star Wars, but I'm not going there if I have to drink, like, pretend drinks.
Yeah.
I want, the
Shirley
cosmic
Temples.
mind erasers or something like that, which is exactly that. It's a Shirley Temple. There's a little bit of audio on this. Apparently, there's a DJ character that they've got in there. Oh, wait a second. Did I just... Oh, crap. I've just gone into a Grammarly commercial. But apparently, there's something like a DJ character there. Real Joe, get me some audio? Yeah. Ain't we funky now?
It's the Duro Droids with Beep Boop Bop.
Beep Boop Bop. There it is. Traditional Disney humor, ladies and gentlemen. The drink at the Star Wars bar in the Oga's Cantina in Florida. Again, don't know if you can get real booze there, if it's just one of those things where we've got, it looks like booze. It looks like, the tropical drinks, or Star Wars themed drinks, but it's not. What you reading about there, Joe? What'd you get?
Yeah, it's real booze.
It is real booze.
Yeah.
Where's it
Color
say?
good.
Color good?
Yes. It says color good.
All right, now every once in a while we'll utter phrases like color good, and it's going to become a new feature of the Ray Gibson Show, like grill marks, which is I haven't had the chance to say grill marks in several weeks because we haven't had nice weather for several weeks, not enough beach weather going on. Although Real Joe and I stuck our head out at 9 o'clock this morning to see what things were looking like on the western side of the island. Did you see a little bit of blue in the sky?
I did, man.
Yeah. You think that's just a tease?
No,
Do you
I don't,
think
man.
that's just a tease from, like the girl that says, "You're a nice dancer"? Is that your car? I used to have a car like that. Getting you thinking like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go get my beach chairs now. I said, I'm going to get the cooler. I'm going to buy ice this time. Huh? Because we're going to be at the beach all day long. Is that what's going to be taking place? We'll see. As Sam Mabini is typing in this morning, she's listening. Yes, real booze. Real booze. So why'd you come back? I mean, I don't want to put too fine a point on things, but I do have to ask the question. Really, think about it, guys. 9:12 in the morning, and we are in the midst of COVID-19 here on Guam, and despite every once in a while I get the feeling like somebody's going to come to their senses and say, hey, we're just going to have to live with this. We'll do what we can for the hospital. We'll see if we can take care of all of the people that might be targets of COVID-19, but we got to get everybody back to work. We got to open the borders. We got to do this. As much as I'd like to say that something like that is going to happen, I don't have any hold out any hope that there's that degree of common sense of people that will listen to somebody besides their own Grimer worm tongues, for those of you that understand the reference. Having said that, if you could get off island right now, I mean, just let's be honest with each other, shall we? If somebody said, I got an airplane ticket, you can go to Florida, free zone, and maybe you've got some skills to be able to get a job there. Wouldn't have to be a great job, just enough to cover the nut, huh? Maybe put aside some money at the end of the day for Slim Jims and Mountain Dews and cold Michelob Ultra. Wouldn't that be enough? Would you come back? Would you come back is the question. I know we all love it here when it's good, right? But when it's bad, it's bad. What about you? Your industry tied with the hospitality industry? What nightmare is that starting to feel like? Wait a second. Hold on. You remember there was a run a few weeks ago on vegetable oil? They had a hard time getting vegetable oil. Now you can get it. It's probably really expensive. Before vegetable oil, there was a run on chicken wings. You can get it now, but it's still a little bit more pricey. And a lot of businesses, a lot of these restaurants, guys that I know, have been extremely hesitant about passing along those increased costs to their customers. But it's getting less and less like that's going to take place. There's my buddy Mike does a little bit of traveling and has been taking snapshots of his restaurant receipts. And he had noticed, I think you follow on Facebook as well, he had noticed that more and more there is a surcharge that they are adding to the receipts, to the bill, and it has to do with COVID-19 vaccine mandates, et cetera, et cetera. We know it's costing them more to do this, so they're adding the surcharge. Now, in a couple of cases, at least a couple of posts that Mike made, they were optional. You could pay them if you wanted to, but if you ask the server, hey, pretty please, I just, it's COVID-19, it is the way it is, yeah. So I don't feel like paying this optional surcharge. They'd take it off for you. My guess is that most people will pay that to help keep some of these businesses open for business. But we're not seeing so much of that right now, although I've got to tell you, it's surprising that some of the places where I've been going to, where you're looking at the price of the food going, oh, it has inched up a little bit, hasn't it? Why is that? Lots of different reasons. 915-888-8255, 888-TALK is the telephone number. We were talking with Dr. Macris earlier. Dr. Ron McNinch joins us on the program here this morning. And, oddly, the day that you write something that's interesting is the day that you don't call in. Doc, what's up with that?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I meant to call yesterday. I'm in this online conference all night long for the last 2 nights. That's out of Washington, D.C. It's part of the National School Board. So, yeah, that's why I didn't call in.
Hey, a question for you, just because I'm playing around with the topic. If somebody you got a call from somebody out in Florida, maybe it's where Sam is, or maybe it's someplace where Doc is, or whatever, just somewhere in the free zone, saying, "Hey, we got an opening at the university that we've got out here, and I think it might work out for you." Would you leave? I mean, have you entertained any employment options off island since COVID-19?
Well, I get opportunities all the time to go, for various amounts of time. And the funny thing is, in my field, I'm in a demand field. And so, I mean, there's always openings in my field because it's a technical field. Yeah. So, and I love Florida. I used to live in Florida. I lived in Florida when I was in the 1st and 2nd grade. And, I lived on the Gulf side, in a little town called Hudson, which was about 3 miles north of Newport Richey, which was right above St. Petersburg. And a beautiful, beautiful place. The only thing I remember about the 2nd grade was that the PE teacher was dating the school principal, and he divorced his wife for her. So that was the only.
Well, back in those days, that was there's a scandal right now, right there. But I think in 2021, 2022, I don't know that would merit more than a couple of just weird comments on a WhatsApp somewhere. 917, Dr. Ron McNinch in the studio with me, and the question, the reason why I'm asking the question is obviously some places are going to recover faster than others, and it still feels like we are, in my estimation here, suffering from self-inflicted gunshot wounds, if you know what I mean. There's a lot to worry about, to be sure, but there's a whole lot of people that aren't going to get sick. There's a lot of people that aren't going to get in the hospital. There's a lot of people that really could use an opportunity to get some work done around here. And it just looks like all of the restrictions and things that we're dealing with are making it harder and harder for them to do all of that stuff. When you think about really what is it that holds you to Guam, what thing is going to be the tipping point to get you to file Chapter 747?
Yeah, I don't see myself really doing that, but I do like to go off island and visit. And one other key thing is there's a point when I think we're going to have to realize that the tourism market and people who are going to be tourists here, especially if they're going to be vaccinated when they're here, they're a pretty safe group to bank on. And, I heard you were mentioning the Star Wars bar before I got on here.
The what?
You were talking about the Star Wars bar?
Oh, yeah, the Star Wars bar in Florida, apparently part of the Star Wars Olga's Cantina at the Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland.
You could blend right in that place, Ray.
Hey, Han Solo shot first. you just remember, it's a place for rogues, and I got the beard now.
Yeah, incredible.
I don't know, but apparently, it gets better. I mean, I'm getting the whole trip report from Sam. She bumped into her old staff supporter and campaign guy, Jose Pepe Garcia, who is out there. And when she was running for senator, it's truly a small, small world after all. Oh my God, the song's in my head now. So there's that. I will admit to you, because I think you and I sometimes are on the same page when it comes to nonsense like this. I got to tell you how ticked off I am that the governor's office wasted vital communications time by sending out a press release that said that, what's his name, Juan Pat Borja, and the lieutenant governor of Guam went to the United Nations. This is after they fronted us to the tune of $2 billion worth of resources and help in the stability of the island during COVID-19, casting aspersions at the federal government again for whatever reason, and blaming them for the skyrocketing cost of construction here on Guam. And I'm going, get it, really? And the government's giving us one of these iron domes? And we still have the temerity to take money with one hand and slap them with the other.
Well, often the United Nations will pay. I'm not sure if they paid for their trip or not, but actually,
what does it matter? Stay here and get some work done.
Yeah.
What do you do? We're going off island. Here we are trying to figure out how to spend $553 million that the Fed gave us. And they're going off gallivanting to the United Nations, complaining about the very same the body of authority here that has provided that kind of relief to Guam. I just, and then in the press release, they say they spoke on behalf of the people of Guam. Okay, if you're listening, United Nations and the federal government of the United States, these clowns don't speak for me.
It's really funny. About 10 years ago, a friend of mine from the United Nations was...
Oh, you remember when you went? And you remember when all of oh, my God, you'd think that you were killing somebody. Oh, my God, we sent the unauthorized Ron McNitch to the United Nations.
Yeah, they invited me. And they invited me the next year. I declined the next year, and I told them, look, nothing's really happened since last year. No real changes. In fact, nothing's really happened in the last 11 or 12 years since when I first went. If Guam wanted to, we could have a vote every 2 years at any election on this question, and you'll get the same answer over and over and over again. And that is, people do not want to trade in their U.S. citizenship for anything. And
my God, especially after COVID-19.
Yeah.
What ridiculous! We've got the Chinese and the North Koreans messing around with ballistic nuclear tipped missiles, and one of these days they're going to figure it out. And they must be close to it if the Army says, "Well, we better put an iron dome over Guam to protect the assets and the island of Guam. We better do something like that." So I think maybe these guys are getting a little bit too close for comfort, as it were. We've already got a THAAD, and now we've got now we're going to get an iron dome out here, and maybe there might be some sense to putting the Aegis system, which is apparently superior. More on that in just a little bit. But it just seems to me it's just disingenuous, and it's such an Indian giver thing. If I can delve into that, where we're sitting around going, well, thanks very much for all of this money. Now get out of here because you're costing us money. The administering power, Ron, and you know about this kind of thing. So in my mind, this is a flat out lie. The administering power will only authorize foreign labor to support military projects. That statement there is out and out false, is it not?
I don't know for sure, but I have heard that anybody who can work can work. But I haven't heard anything otherwise. And it could be that they have to. I know that all the contractors have to meet certain federal standards and things like that.
You mean like we want to make sure that we're not having criminals infiltrating the base under the guise of working? I mean, look, if you can't pee clean, you can't pee clean. But that's not a federal mandate that says that you can't get the job. Look, if we weren't, they're hiring now. You can go to the Department of Labor or go to hireguam.com. Are you a carpenter with 1 year experience? It doesn't say that you got to be foreign labor. It doesn't say that you got to come from the Philippines or Mexico or anywhere. But if you can't pee clean to work on these projects, then you can't get that project and work for $15.50 an hour. Cement mason with 1 year experience, they're paying $14, almost $15 for that with other benefits. But there's no requirement that says that you've got to be from off island. Now there is the benefits, under benefits, round trip airfare for off island hires, but that's not mandatory. So I don't know where these guys, and considering one of them is the lieutenant governor of Guam, I don't understand where this line comes from. And the result is the people of Guam being priced out of home ownership and shut out from the residential rental market, which is, quote, dominated by military housing rentals and rental subsidies for only a certain segment of the population. You mean Section 8? You mean people that aren't working right now because of our reaction to COVID-19? And yeah, the military does rent a number of homes. A couple of the houses up the street from my place are rented out by folks in the military, and they're being rented out by, you know who? Chamorros. So what? We want to stop letting them rent the houses on Guam, and now the Chamorros aren't going to have anybody to rent their houses to. Great thinking there. Call the Commission on Decolonization.
Yeah, I think that one key thing that's never came up, and we'll see where it goes, after the Davis case, right? The Davis case said that they can't have a restricted vote. Well, they never integrated the Decolonization Commission after that to make any sorts of changes. Most people don't go back to the legislative record. If you go back to the legislative record, the Decolonization Commission was never supposed to have been what the Decolonization Commission is as it operates today. The whole idea of having a restricted political status vote, that was supposed to be one of several activities that they were doing. It wasn't supposed to be the only activity. There were supposed to have been currently a Commonwealth Commission that should be up and running, that we should be pursuing Commonwealth at the same time. That's never been shut down. I think that somebody needs to go back and take a look at, just how narrow and artificial in scope we've made our efforts here and how negatively skewed they are, because there's in the books an active Commonwealth Commission activity on the current books and if you read the legislative record, it's supposed to operate concurrently with everything else. And so, yeah, that's just unfortunate because I don't know. What bothers me in some ways is, the Chamorro only vote doesn't bother me, but just the atypical behavior that you hear spinning out of those kinds of activities that do not really represent or speak as a voice for Guam, which is unfortunate.
Well, especially when they go to the United Nations, claiming that they're representing the people of Guam with this vitriol against the federal government of the United States and all of the terrible things that our administering power has done to us, like give us $2 billion in the midst of this COVID-19 pandemic and trying to protect the island and the people of Guam. Now, I'm not going to be naive and say that they're only protecting the people of Guam. I mean, yeah, there's assets here. We're going to pull in the crippled Cincinnati here in the next day or so and find out exactly what they hit underwater. Some people are already opining that maybe they hit another submarine. We'll watch and see. What was the last one? Is it the San Francisco that hit something underwater?
Oh, the one that hit the shelf at full speed.
Yeah.
That the one that they're depicting right now in the South China Sea. That sounded like submarine bumper cars just a little bit.
Well, yeah. It'd be interesting to see the nature of the thing. Does it have, like, rocks in it? Did we have rocks, marks of rocks or the sea shelf on that? Or is it going to be, if you rub it out a little bit, we'll actually get the color of a Chinese submarine on it. Who knows what's going to happen? 9:28 in the morning, 888-8255. Dr. Ron McNitch goofing off with me here in the morning show. And we got Bob Kelly wanted to join the conversation. Good morning, Bob. Welcome to the program.
Good. Thank you. I've wondered why we haven't done something on Guam that would solve a lot of, I think, the issues of where the people of Guam stand. We've had this potential vote now for the indigenous-only people who can trace back to the citizenship through the Organic Act. Has been going on for, 15, 20 years, is it, Ron? It's been so long I forgot when it started.
No, 1997. So it's almost 26 years.
Okay. I mean, it's been going on a long, long time. Why don't we instead just set a, and it is a non-binding vote, it's just to find out where people stand, correct?
Yeah, more than likely. And
okay.
Yeah.
So based upon that, why don't we get the University of Guam, and if there's not enough competent surveyors in Guam, bring somebody from a major university like Penn State, George Washington, or something to join into and do a very detailed survey of what people want, and also identify their ethnicity, and let everybody, that way those who have come here from the Philippines, from America, or whatever, would have their vote recorded, but so would those who are indigenous, and that way it would identify us, see if the people are on the same sheet of music, or if the Americans and Filipinos want to stay and the Chamorros want to leave, or vice versa. And we could very much have multiple choices of what could be available, like what the self-determination votes to be. And instead of a self-determination vote, make it a detailed self-determination survey with the same kind of emphasis on doing that survey as we did with the U.S. Census, where it's a very detailed set of sheets and identification and so on, so that we know where the people stand, and at that point we know where everybody stands.
I'd have them go out in pairs. I'd have them go out in pairs, because there's going to be, the Kool-Aid drinkers from the Commission on Decolonization, and I can see them fudging the answers. So we'd have to have them go out. So you got somebody that's on the decolonization side, and somebody that represents a whole other one of the options that we've got available to us. Because I don't trust those guys. Here's an interesting question on one of the chats here. There's Chamorros in San Diego and Washington State, and even some in Texas and in the Carolinas. Do they get to vote in the status vote?
I think the way it's written, it is. Am I correct, Ron?
I really don't know. I
believe if you are considered a Chamorro by when you're one of your ancestors, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents.
No, that's gone. I think that's gone. I don't know that there's anything that would link them. Otherwise, you say, I think it's a self-attestation, I think is how the governor's office would put that.
Well, I mean, and what it was set up to be, but I think also on island and off island, they wanted to get everybody's input, including the Chamorro relatives, descendants that were off island.
So wait, hold on. Let me throw, because this is a fun conversation, and frankly, it gives me an opportunity to bring up old jokes or old gotchas. What about the Chamorros that live up in Saipan? They're Chamorros too.
Well,
or they made U.S. citizens by the organic act. Just being Chamorro, you could be an American or Filipino.
No, I'm talking about what is the intent? What is the intent of all of this? What is the intent here? Is this are we trying to make Guam like the Israel for Chamorros? Regardless of whether you're born and raised on Guam, or whether you're a Chamorro that is from Vallejo, California, or up at where Tundukduk is, up in Washington, or Chamorro from the CNMI. What are we trying to do?
Well, I'm just saying what they determined as indigenous was not based upon race, but was based upon how you obtained U.S. citizenship through the Organic Act. That was the way it was originally written.
We'll have to find some of the original framers and go over some of their original intent on all of this. The situation since the Davis case obviously has changed, and Chamorro only vote, that concept has been kind of thrown out the window. My issue here again comes down to we've got the lieutenant governor who is claiming to speak for the people of Guam, going out and basically telling lies to the United Nations about the nature of construction here on Guam, and who is allowed to do that labor. To say that it is only foreign labor that supports military projects is a lie. Bob, you're a contractor with the military. Are you required to only use foreign labor?
You have to use them on the project that is designated, but part of the new process for H2 is if they're supporting out-of-the-gate projects that are supporting the overall island infrastructure that supports the buildup, including the military. So there still should be a nexus based upon what was passed, but that nexus could even be building a hotel so that there's more rooms for military to be here. So
okay,
it's fairly
that's not the
broad.
way I've read that statement. The statement is the administering power will only authorize foreign labor to support military projects. But that is not true. There are military projects that are being done here on Guam that are being done where you've got an H-2 worker that is working side by side with somebody from Manila.
Yeah, but the technicality, well, certainly it's not limited to foreign workers on the military or non-military project, but the key on the H-2 is if you bring an H-2 worker in for a specific project, you can't divert them to another project.
Correct. But that's not the point that is being made in the, that is not the point that they're making.
That's the basis of the possible misinformation. I want to go back to what I was just saying. I don't see us having a vote this year, next year, or 5 years from now. But if we had the amount of money we have spent talking about having a vote, could have had an extremely accurate, detailed survey, and then they could go to the United Nations and say, this survey shows what the people of Guam really want, and this is what those who have got indigenous ancestry want, and this is what the overall island wants, and then they can specifically point to a detailed, accurate, credible survey. I would like to see that done, but I think people are afraid to do the survey because it's better to keep kicking the can down the road and putting out the information.
Could be. Dr. McNinch, last word?
Well, we've done about 5 of those surveys. Christian Adams, in his pleadings at the federal court, said that there are methods like that Guam could use rather than this odd system that they've adopted to achieve those goals. We know exactly what people, the vast majority of people want here. We know it broken down by ethnicity, what people want here. There's not a lot of mystical ideas related to it. It's pretty simple. The problem is it doesn't fit the narrative of a very, very, very small number of people who tend to be the most vocal on these questions, but that's not going to last very much longer. I think that it's gotten to the point when people are tired of being told they can't talk about these issues.
I recall, and if somebody actually has the temerity to go to the United Nations and say so, I think they'd meet you at the airport with pitchforks and a fire.
Yeah, but
torches.
The interesting thing is, look at who they're talking to at the United Nations. Look at the countries that are on the Committee of 21 and other groups like that. They're all hostile to the United States, pretty much. Not all, but almost.
I don't know. When the United Nations sends us $2 billion during the pandemic, maybe I'll pay more attention to what goes on out of that part of New York. Guys, I got to go 9:36 in the morning.
Can I ask one more question just to open up? Would a person who has one Chamorro great-grandparent whose family and fathers and grandparents have lived in the United States and they've been born in Texas or wherever, do they have more of a right to determine where Guam will move as far as the future than, say, my son who was born on Guam and lived his whole life here and went to school here and is working here? And that doesn't make a lot of sense either.
Don't disagree. And the answer to the question is I don't know. Hey, I got to run. I'll talk to you guys later. 9:37 in the morning. Oh God, my phone's making noise again. What the heck is that all about? And I got a note from Boris, who reads better than I. Says that's not what the statement means. What they are saying is it's only for military and those related project, not the private sector. It's a poor wording that they have used here. Okay, well, they're not my words. They're not my words. If that's what they wanted to say, then that's the way they should have said it. The administering power will only authorize foreign labor to support military projects, resulting then in a nearly twofold increase in the cost of construction. Now, it's been going in that direction for a while. What's the number now? $250 a square foot for any construction here on Guam, and all of the market dominated, the rental market dominated by military housing rentals. Watch that hit the skids here before too much longer, because it costs too much to build a new house to make that $2,500 a month that you're going to get. All of a sudden, the margins have shrunk on that. That's why I see a lot of these guys going out there looking at banging on doors in the villages, going, "Hey, can you sell me your house? I'm gonna flip this house and rent it to these guys because I can't afford to build brand new. I can save some money on that and use that in fixing up. I'll put a nice gate up here. We'll get the internet going, and maybe we'll do something nice with the bathrooms and the kitchen, right? We'll change out the closet doors, right? That's what we're going to do because it's better to do that business-wise than anything else. And many of those people that are doing that these days are locals. There are Chamorros that are renting to the military and to Section 8. And I guess it's okay as long as we're able to slap the American government in the face. It's okay to put those guys out of business, right? Because, I work in the government. I'm always going to get paid. It's 9:39. Be right back.
Come try Guam's original Chamorro restaurant with Pica's Best 5 years running. Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Experience Chef Peter's candied salmon over scallion coconut rice, octopus tinactac, Chamorro platter, and their award-winning gourmet hamburgers. Or if you're looking for something healthy, try their keto-friendly menu. Come and enjoy Mezcla's half-a-day service at their Hagåtña and Grand Plaza Tumon location. Call their Hagåtña location at 479-2652 for reservations.
You know all those amazing photos and videos saved on your camera roll capturing your love for Guam? We want to see it. Log on to visitguam.com/Instaguam to submit your best moments for a chance to win weekly prizes. The Guam Visitors Bureau will choose a weekly winner, so share your love for our island paradise now and win. Brought to you by GVB. Thank you for making Guam a better place to live, work, and visit.
As we get back to business, Docomo Pacific is ready to keep you connected. Introducing Business Bundles Plus. Build a customized bundle with the right internet, mobile, TV, and phone plan for your business. Pay for exactly what you need and nothing you don't. And the more services you add, the more you save. Plus, you can rely on Docomo Pacific's fastest, most reliable network and 24/7 customer support. So build your own bundle and save today with Business Bundles Plus. Call 671-688-2677. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Okay. What was I going to do? You said Docomo? Wendy's. Wendy's. Oh, that doesn't rhyme with Docomo.
No.
Hold on. They changed out the copy on me, and I want to make sure I get it right because there's a whole new way to enjoy a burger over at Wendy's. The new Big Bacon Cheddar. It's here. It made its way all the way to Guam. It came in with Josh Tenorio and Melvin Wampat Bora. Got everything you could possibly want in a cheeseburger, creamy cheddar sauce, applewood smoked bacon, sweet bacon sauce, and crispy onions, all in a toasted cheddar-y bun. Hurry and try one today only at Wendy's. We gotcha.
Guam Auto Spot has the best selection in Buick, GMC, Mitsubishi, and used cars like the 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage starting at $127 per paycheck. 0 down. Call 671-478-AUTO to take a test drive or get pre-approved online at GuamAutospot.com.
I got a couple of interesting comments on a variety of topics. Some of it going back to the big United Nations visit. Yeah, we can travel. Where are we going? United Nations. Did they give you any money? Did they get on the way back? Did they? I'm just saying. I don't normally give politicians a hard time. Even Lou. I mean, if Lou goes off to D.C. But comes back with a $25 million pledge for something, I'm fine. It's worth it. It's worth it. But you guys, we sent the lieutenant governor to the United Nations and Melvin Wampat Bora. We sent those guys all the way to New York City, and they got up in front of some committee at the United Nations, and I'm sure they got a lot of applause when they were throwing shade at the federal government, despite $2 billion worth of bailout in this territory and missile defense systems. Forget about that. But now I understand why I got friends of mine that come around the military and just go, what the hell is wrong with your leadership here? But anyway, having said, we sent these guys all the way up. Did you come back with any money? Did anybody, the treasurer of the United Nations, go, yeah, you guys are really having a hard time out there? Maybe would this $500 million help? No, nothing like that. Did you see Cats at least? What about Hamilton? Did you go watch Hamilton? That's the movie, right? Or that's the play that everybody's raving about with the rap music soundtrack, Hamilton? Yeah. Okay. All right. On a couple of other subjects, let's talk about some of the money that comes in. I'm told that right now it's about $250 million circulating in the economy around here as a result of military living off base. It's $250 million. Marines are coming. They're going to add another. Are you ready for this? What is this? $360 million that are going to be added to all of that. Just crazy where you go, oh, please don't let that money circulate around in the economy. Sandra online on the Facebook Live talking about this and saying, the military maybe has to do something about the prices, the off-base housing prices, because it is pricing other people out of the market. Military needs to lower the BAH. Causes a lot of landlords know how much money the military is getting, so the rental rates are up there, makes it not affordable for our own people. How do we make it more affordable for our own people? Do we tell folks that they can't rent to the military? Do we tell people that they can rent to them, but they've got to give it to them at this price? Is that do we want to control it in that means? Or is it possible we can take a look at some of the people that we've got here on Guam and find ways, as there are some people that will, find ways to bridge the gap. There are families, husbands working and making some decent money, wife is working and making some decent money, but even as much as they're making, don't make enough to be able to meet the loan requirements over at the bank. Bank will carry you for 80%. You got to come up with 20, and you go, I don't got the 20, man. Well, then we can't give you the loan. We'll take a look at what you're making, and you might be just under the threshold for us to be able to give that to you. Are there ways with, I don't know, $500 million that we might be able to subsidize a little bit of that for families? You know who knows about this stuff? Go find Carl Gutierrez. Go find Carl. Carl knows about this stuff. He knows, and I've seen it. I've seen it happen in villages I've lived in, where you got a piece of property that's going out there, and an opportunity for a young family to be able to buy that property, do the construction, and still be able to get the loans. Go find Carlos Camacho. He knows ways to do that as well. We're just not doing that. There's ways that we can bridge the gap between a family's earnings and what the bank's expectations are. And I don't know. Maybe there's somebody in the government that knows somebody over at the bank that might be able to put together some kind of a program that will allow for that, especially if these families can show that they're not going to be major credit risks around here. And then what's wrong with looking for opportunities to find ways to get our kids educated better so that they can afford some good, high-paying, high-tech jobs that are out there. I mean, it's no secret. Does anybody know how many? Bob Kelly would know off the top of his head. How many of these massive fiber drops do we have here on Guam? Undersea cables that terminate here, undersea cables that go right through Guam, and there are millions of dollars worth of opportunities for young people to get trained in IT and similar professions, so that they'd be able to take advantage of those jobs when they get out here, as opposed to sitting around and waiting for their next PUA check or for somebody to put some money in their SNAP program. That has to be part of the components. Have a wonderful, blessed Friday, everybody. Keep safe. Who else have we got? Colin says we need people in government that can take care of themselves if they plan on representing the people of Guam. With the way the governor handled COVID, PUA, and ARP funds, plus the corrupt behavior regards to the procurement of services during the pandemic, the feds will never take Guam seriously when it comes to self-determination. Just saying. And there's other comments. You guys got to read some of this stuff. It's all kind of exciting. Earlier, we were talking about what's the question? How do we defend ourselves from the Chinese and the North Koreans? We are American Asia. We are, as they say, the tip of the spear. I've got an article, and I won't read the whole thing. I'll summarize it based on the headline. You have seen articles like this that have been written in the past, and it makes reference to one of the issues that we've got out here, and that is America in Asia. The American pond that we've got out here, and the stability that the armed forces of the United States brings to the region, and that stability is threatened now by an ascendant China, and threatened now by a totally unstable North Korea. And our allies are looking at us, going, "Okay, can you send us a sign that the Marianas Chain and in fact all of the allies in the Asia-Pacific region aren't going to end up being the next Afghanistan?" Biden administration should make Guam's defense center of Indo-Pacific strategy, expert says. John Grady writes this. Basically says the defense of Guam should be the centerpiece of the Biden administration's focus on countering the threats from China, says an expert on missile defense yesterday. The main thing, says Tom Karako, Director of Missile Defense Project at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. He stressed the island's strategic importance to American presence and operations in the region. The U.S. territory provides major support for Navy submarines operating in the Pacific, an air base capable of sustaining Air Force strategic bombers, and a Coast Guard headquarters and several cutters. There are going to be some things like an island you cannot hide. Indo-Pacific commanders have been pounding the table to come up with an acceptable missile defense plan for Guam for several years. Kathleen Hicks, in a recent appearance, I told you about this the other day, underlined the increased threat facing Guam and Hawaii from China's continued military expansion. But so far, there has been no congressionally accepted plan for the island's defense. The former head of the U.S. Indo-PACOM, Phil Davidson, we all remember that story, had advocated for the Aegis Ashore ballistic missile defense system to defend Guam from Chinese missiles. Davidson included the system in a list of priorities he sent to Congress about the Indo-Pacific. Old-fashioned ballistics to defend Guam against new hypersonic and updated cruise missiles, or an old-fashioned ballistics attack from China or North Korea. Karako said the threats have to be identified. Defending Guam would require working with mature technologies, providing integrated air and missile defense systems for the island, and having these systems be interoperable among the services and with allies. Now, you can find the article on the web out there. And I was delighted to hear that they are putting an Iron Dome missile defense system has been deployed to Guam. It will go in addition to the existing THAAD system, although I'm hearing grumblings about the THAAD, and maybe somebody needs to go the same way we changed out the batteries in the mouse yesterday. Might need to change out the batteries in the THAAD system. Do those things plug into GPA?
I don't know. They should have an autonomous power source, man. I don't know if that's a good idea.
just asking here. What do we got here? So my buddy, who knows a thing or two about this, says the Iron Dome is intended to work in all types of weather. Okay, we only have two.
Nice, Ray.
We only have two, bro. Is raining like hell or hot as hell?
Yes and yes.
It is intended to protect against everything from intercontinental ballistic missiles, surface-to-air missiles, rocket launchers, and mortars. That's the Iron Dome. It was 90% accurate, way better than the Moderna or Pfizer vaccine. The range for the Iron Dome is about 45 miles. The THAAD, on the other hand, only protects against missiles, but not RPGs or mortars. But it's got a bigger range, 120 miles. Having both active on Guam would be a great defense system. But nothing, he says, beats an Aegis cruiser for air defense. It can defend itself. It can defend itself while causing damage and even launch nuclear Tommy Hawks. But since the international waters end at 12 miles, a warship can just come in close enough to fire a remote missile low enough to the island before the radar tracks to intercept. And so, with every one of these features, we've got a different kind of a strategy or tactic that we have to prepare for one way or the other. But having said all of that, okay.
You ever play that game, Missile Command?
I don't think I have. On Atari?
Yeah. It was like these things coming down, and you got to put the thing and you
the
gotta
reticle
blow
in
them
the
up.
spot. I think that's basically the way it works. Although we have faster computers and kids that are way better at video games than I ever was. 9:52, got Jim on the line. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Ray. I don't know. Enlighten me, brother. I try to stay out of international stuff that doesn't have directly to do with, us. But why are we even inviting the United Nations or any other foreign entity to try to stand in judgment of us and or give recommendations for us? Is it just a political dog and pony show, or do they really think that a non-U.S. entity has any legal standing to tell me, you, anybody else what we can or can't do? The United Nations and NATO have been upside down for decades and have been just outright broken for probably the last 8 to 10 years?
I don't know. You're talking to me about the same guys that think masks are useful and that lockdowns worked and all of the. Yeah, I mean, there's an echo chamber out there, Jim, and there's nothing that you and I can say that will provide them any kind of common sense, any kind of moral sense. For heaven's sakes, I mean, I keep going back to this. These guys are casting aspersions at the same authority here that provided a $2 billion worth of bailout to the people of Guam. And really, if you've got those kind of problems, if you really hate the government that much, give the money back. Write an IOU. Lou writes an IOU right now that says, "Hey, listen, I'm sorry, but I cannot gladly accept this money that you have given us on behalf of the people of Guam, knowing that your practices on base and in construction are causing for a twofold increase in construction, notwithstanding the cost of transportation, cost of utilities, cost of manpower, cost of whatever. So I'll go ahead and take the money, but we're going to pay you back that $2 billion.
Yeah.
When Mike Nicholas is governor, he'll pay you back $2 billion.
Yeah, and not only that, from our side of quote unquote biting the hand that feeds you and takes care of you, but it's starting to get a little bit concerned. Well, no, it's starting to get a lot of bit concerning because ever since President Obama signed into that international arms treaty, I can't remember it right off the top of my head. Okay, but the United Nations and NATO now think that our Second Amendment is something that they can just sweep to the side. They're talking about unilateral arms registries and all this kind of stuff being done from NATO and the United Nations. I see the dog and pony show moving from a dog and pony show to, oh wow, this is a dangerous dog and pony show.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say something snarky like I'd say something snarky like those blue helmets make great targets.
I started to say the same thing. I see blue helmets coming down the street asking if I own firearms. Guess what? As far as I'm concerned, that's an enemy, foreign or domestic, and yeah, it's going to be a bad day probably for me ultimately, but it's going to be a real bad day for somebody else up front.
Yeah, again, the deal is there's an echo chamber in there, and we're not allowed on the inside to provide any version of our own common sense. It runs counter to the agenda, runs counter to the plans, and we're sunk. Here's the problem: is we only elect governors every 4 years, we only elect senators every 2 years, and I've become of the opinion that both of them are like dirty diapers. They need to be changed often.
No, they don't want anybody turning on a fan and blowing all the smoke out of the smoke and mirror show. That's for sure.
That's what we do here, isn't it? That's the fun part of working here at the shop. 9:56 and change, Jim. Always a delight talking with you. You have a great weekend. Remember, this is a no frowny face Friday. So as Jerry Roberts says, go make something good happen this weekend. All right.
Roger that, bro.
All right, man. 9:56 and change. Do I got to take care of a commercial? Or do I want to put Patrick on for the last couple of minutes? Because otherwise he'll complain. He'll be one of those, how come he never puts me on? He relegates me to the Section 8 portion of the program. Good morning, Brother Pat. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning. Ray, have you ever ridden BART system? I was at that BART transit system in San Francisco or California.
I avoid public transportation.
Well, anyway, it's an underground railroad system. So what I recommended to the senators was to, instead of using the money for the new hospital that they're supposed to build, for the governor's proposal, to build like an underground BART railroad system from the northern part of the island to the southern tip of the island that will serve not only as a underground railroad system, but also a fallout shelter. Because even with the most elaborate missile defense system, all it takes is one rogue missile to hit the island, and it'll be contaminated with radiation for 100 years. So we need an underground fallout shelter / underground railway system for everybody to evacuate and, be equipped with everything from, like emergency stations to decontamination chambers for people coming from outside. And they'll have exits and entrances all over the island where people can, evacuate in an orderly fashion. Okay, and it runs under $1 billion because that's how much it costs to build the BART system in California. It stretches from Pittsburgh all the way down to, I believe, San Jose. And it even goes underground, underwater, believe it or not.
What happens if there's an earthquake?
Well, that's the reason why that underground shelter is going to be reinforced. Of course, it's going to be concrete. It's not just going to be like a hole in the ground. They're going to have to reinforce it with concrete or whatnot. So
I don't know. I keep thinking here's the thing that you got to keep in mind, Brother Pat. This is the same government that build all these sewers and underground waterways in Tumon, and you're talking about just different ways to move things from one place to another. Not only did it not move the water out, it filled up with sand and toilets and desks, according to Carl Gutierrez. So I don't know that we could get that right, and I'd be afraid to spend that kind of money. We'll use somebody else's.
Well,
we'll use the United Nations. Well, if we can get the United Nations to fund that, I think it'd be all right.
Well, it's all over America. They got those underground. They call it deep underground military bases, DUMBs. It's stretched all over the. America,
bro, I hike, man.
All the way around the world.
I'm a hiker. Me and Dennis Benzer know where all of those are on Guam. There's down in Telefulfa. They look like limestone caves, but they're not. They're really munitions dumps.
No, but they can actually build it because Cuba, believe it or not, has one that's from the northern tip of the island to the southern tip.
Did you know that there's a place at Disneyland in California where you can go and buy booze? The human head weighs 8 pounds. I got to go, Brother Pat. You have a fantastic weekend. The time, it's 10 o'clock, isn't it? All right, close enough to it. And enough time for me to give the usual Friday announcement. It's Friday. We're not coming to work here tomorrow or Sunday. It's not a choice broadcasting holiday on Monday, so we will be here trying to entertain as many people that are going to be sleeping in as possible. For Real Joe Cruz, Monticello Vatara, and Jerry Roberts, my name is Ray Gibson saying thanks so much for listening. We'll catch up on Monday. And if you see me out of doors anytime over the weekend after midnight, send me home. And if you're hot, take me home. The radio station's KUSG Aganya. Here's Fox News.
Fox News. A short-term deal made earlier today between Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Republican Leader Mitch McConnell that would increase the debt limit by $480 billion through early December, now going through a procedural vote in the Senate. If that passes, senators will next consider the bill's final passage.
McConnell offered the short-term deal hours before Democrats were again going to force a vote on a debt limit suspension through most of next year. Republicans have blocked that proposal, arguing Democrats can raise the debt limit on their own using the same reconciliation process underway for a multi-trillion-dollar spending bill.
Fox's Jared Halpern on Capitol Hill. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she will call members back to Washington from recess to vote on the plan once it passes the Senate. It's doubly important to get your flu shot this year. So says CDC Director Rochelle Walensky, saying last year's COVID restrictions helped keep flu cases down.
We are worried as a community that we will have less immunity overall.
She says with travel resuming and businesses and schools reopen, it's tough to say how bad the flu season will be. Coast Guard officials are now saying the oil spill off the